A very nice day for football, solid temperature, it's around 25 degrees at the moment, the wind is cooling things down, this sun does have a bit of bite in it, so it is essential that both sides stay well hydrated throughout the game. They don't want to be cramping up on what is a very dry track here at Morawa, very little rainfall in the last little bit, so it will be a tough slog for both teams. A hard deck, a fast game is expected. As I mentioned, Three Springs like to move the ball, they like to switch it, expect a lot of play down the wings today, and it is a big ground, so they'll look to use the big pockets to their advantage. For Carnamah, they'll be looking to lock it up as much as possible, win the contest, and then try and get to the outside and beat them that way, trying to get it into the hands of their big key forwards in Stone, and along with them Paper Talk Iaria can bob up and kick a couple of goals, a good small forward. Tim Steele very good, along with Kobe Salah and Jared Jupp as well. While on Three Springs they're led by James Burnett, the skipper, and Reese Hutton, who is another gun player and has been for a long time in the North Midlands Football League. It's a big day down here at Morawa. It is the culmination of all the hockey and netball as well as the football seasons here in the North Midlands Football, Netball and Hockey League. Earlier today it was the Nippers, the juniors, that went about it, and it was Dongra doing it in pretty convincing fashion over Three Springs. So well done to the Dongra Eagles for winning that game earlier on. And over on the other fields we have the netball and the hockey as well. So plenty of action happening down here at the Morawa Sporting Complex. As I mentioned, I'm James Gardner, calling all the action. It's great to have your company wherever you are around Australia, all the world. We've got viewers right across the globe, up in Bali, mad Three Springs supporters, long time Three Springs supporters, and also right around Australia as well, and WA. So as the presentations are happening up behind us from the Nippers, but it is great to have you along for the journey today. It's sure to be a cracking game. Game getting underway at 2:30. We're not far away from a start this afternoon. Coached by Coach Jeremy Hebley, he would be very confident heading into this one, coach of Three Springs. They head in as favourites, as I mentioned. They were clear. They finished on top by a pretty clear margin, a good percentage. They were a couple of games on top ahead of the Magpies, who had a straight sets exit after losing to Three Springs 192-93 in the second semi, before losing last weekend to Carnamah per injury 82-64 in the preliminary final. So both sides head in form, with confidence about them, and for Three Springs they're looking to end a big drought. 2005 their last flag, so 18 years ago, while for Carnamah their last was in 2012. They had a crack last year, they were rising up, and they're back this year to have another go at it. Coached by Riley Barham, who has led this side for the last couple of years. A lot of talent in there from both Perth and also further north in Geraldton and the Great Northern Football League. So they have recruited well, they've got together a nice team. But Three Springs, as I mentioned, they'd enter favourites with the calibre of players they've got. Your likes of Leadham Paper Talk, who is a renowned footballer from Geraldton, Ned Osborne, a young gun through the middle. The Hebleys, a strong name. Cade Gillingham as well for the Bombers, along with Reese Hutton, who has been a mainstay of this competition for a long time and has been a great performer for the Bombers over a very long period of time. He's looking to get a flag for himself and this football club. Either way, it is going to be a huge game. We're hoping that it is close. Hopefully past results aren't anything to go by between these two, with the last game 10 goals in the favour of Three Springs, 96-36, and before that 92-42 to the Bombers. Carnamah, though, on their day can certainly win this one. The Roos in the Western Bulldogs colours of the red, white and blue, while for the Bombers they have the black with the red sash across their chests and the black shorts. Today as well, this is a big day for all involved in the North Midlands Football League. A lot of small country towns coming out. Morawa, not a big town themselves. Dongra, who played in the Nippers earlier. Three Springs, a very small town indeed. Carnamah per injury, likewise. So it is great to have so many communities and country towns all together to celebrate football, netball and hockey here at Morawa Sporting Complexes. Carnamah make their way onto the ground, led by Riley Poutley, who leads them out onto the field for the first time today as they look to make amends for last season's defeat in the grand final over at Dongra. And they do look primed and ready to go one better today. So both sides are beginning to, or the Bombers at least, are beginning to make their way over in front of the clubhouse, which is pretty full. There's lots of shade available as it is a very bright and sunny day. The wind is blowing from left to right of screen, almost going across the ground, but if it is favouring any end, it is favouring the scoreboard end of the ground, which is to the right of screen. The netball field and the netball court rather, and the hockey fields to the left of screen, and there are lots of cars parked around, as you can see. This is country footy at their best. We love to see so many people out and about supporting grassroots footy. The North Midlands, they were in the C-grade division of Country Week earlier this year. We saw them down at Mandurah and they played some pretty good football. It's a strong competition, good farming communities all support this competition, along with a sprinkling of Perth products, along with Geraldton boys as well. So both teams are beginning to make their way to centre wing on the broadcast side of the ground here at Morawa Sporting Complex for the toss of the coin and all the formalities that happen before the grand final. And once they are out of the way, we are almost set and ready to go. This game getting underway at 2:30. The three umpires there in the middle, sure, they will do a great job, as well as all the players. And we wish everyone all the best, because it is a tremendous achievement to even just get to the grand final, and to partake in it. So we await for the presentations behind us to wrap up, and then we can get the national anthem and the toss of the coin out of the way, and we can get this game underway. As I mentioned, I'm James Gardner in the commentary box this afternoon here at Morawa Sporting Complex. Lots of action happening today at Morawa. It's the biggest day on the calendar. This would have been marked in everyone's calendars from a long way out. It's been a big season, and it is about to come to a culmination today, a climax between Carnamah, Perenjori and Three Springs. Three Springs, an 18-year drought they're looking to end, while for Carnamah it's an 11-year drought themselves. Runners-up last year, looking to avenge that loss, while Three Springs head in with a target on their back somewhat, as they finished 2 games clear on top with a strong percentage. They got straight through from the second semi-final with a big win over the Magpies, 129-93. So they've had the week off, they'd be refreshed, they'd be ready to go, while Carnamah have had to go about it the hard way. They had to play off in the first semi against Morawa, the Tigers. They got up by 16.77 to 51, and then they got over the Magpies last weekend in the prelim final, 82-64. So both teams going through their final warm-ups. 5-star for Carnamah, Perenjori, getting their hands working and trying to get it all set and ready. Lots of voice and talk in that, while for Three Springs, a bit of stretching and the final preparation begins. This is what they all play for. They set out for pre-season at the beginning of February. You play right through 6 months of the year just to get to this day, and both teams have earned the right to come here today and to play off in the grand final, and they both deserve the win, but only one will get it today. Will it be the Bombers of Three Springs or the Kangaroos of Carnamah and Perenjori? We'll find out very shortly. This game gets underway 2:30. We shouldn't be too far away from a start. The Nippers presentations behind us to Dongra, who were convincing winners over the Three Springs Bombers earlier today in the Nippers game. They were big winners, and they now get to enjoy the spoils of the premiership win, with the premiership presentations occurring behind us. So, about to head out very shortly into the middle of Morawa Sporting Complex, or Jack Reitman Oval as it's better known here, dedicated to Jack Reitman for all the service that he did to the Morawa district and to sport here in the Midwest of Western Australia and the North Midlands Football League as well. A strong competition, lots of farming communities. It was a great drive down, lots of crops out and about. And we do wish all the farmers the best, every farmer the best with the upcoming harvest season, which isn't too far away. Hopefully there is a little bit more rainfall though on the way to just get a little bit more rain into the crops. Nonetheless, this will be a great highlight of the year for all involved. Of course, the Central Midlands had their grand final last weekend, as did the GNFL up in Geraldton, where a big drought was broken to Northampton Football Club, of course, a famous football factory of current and former AFL stars, none bigger at the moment than Paddy Cripps, who led his Carlton side to victory last night over the Sydney Swans at the MCG. And I'm sure he would be very happy with how the Northampton boys performed last weekend in a thrilling grand final in extra time. Let's hope that today it's much the same as we begin, as the players and coaches and support staff along with the umpires line up in front of the club rooms here at Morawa for the official proceedings, the national anthem and the toss of the coin to occur very shortly. You've got Carnamah Perendry on the left and Three Springs Bombers on the right in their black and red, with the red sash, and for Carnamah, the kangaroo on the front of their crest, the red, white and blue of Carnamah Perendry. We await for the opening proceedings to get underway, hopefully not too far away from a start. We're almost near on 2:30, and I'm sure all players and coaches for that matter, and umpires as well, are itching for this game to get underway, to get the nerves out of the system, because you'd imagine there would be a few nervous players out there ready to get this game underway and started. National anthem occurring now here at Morawa. There's the national anthem from Morawa Football Oval here for the North Midlands Grand Final for 2023. The captain's about to congregate in the middle, James Burnett for Three Springs, and his opposing captain Riley Poutley for Carnamah Perendry. So the toss of the coin occurring now on centre wing broadcast side, and Carnamah Perendry have won the toss through Riley Poutley. He'll be kicking to the right of screen, to the scoreboard end of the ground. A very good result there for Carnamah, kicking with the breeze. It's probably a 2 to 3 goal breeze here at Morawa, possibly even pushing for probably a 3.5 goal breeze, in fact, here at Morawa. So Carnamah will have the chance to make the most of it early and get a nice lead on the board, you would expect, because a fast start will be necessary for them if they are to win this afternoon. So both teams in their final huddles. James Gardner in the commentary box, calling it for Filming Footy and Dartfish, thanks to our sponsors Archie Thongs and Dartfish. The Sportal scoreboard today will hopefully be ticking over nice and regularly. Hopefully it's a high scoring affair and a nice close game here at Morawa Sporting Complex. For the North Midlands Grand Final 2023. Carnamah Perendry kicking to the right of the screen, led by Riley Poutley and coached by Riley Barham. While for Three Springs, they're kicking to the netball court end of the ground, and that is to the left, and they're led by James Burnett and coached by Jeremy Heavley. So we're just about set and ready to go. Poutley will be in the ruck for Carnamah Perendry. His opposing number is Liam Mutter. Kobe Sellers in the middle, starting in the middle for Carnamah, along with Mitchell Hutton as well, joining him in the middle. Cade Gillingham sets up on the defensive side for Three Springs, and on this broadcast side, on the wing, it is Ned Osborne going up against Tim Steele. So we're all set for a start. The 2023 North Midlands Grand Final about to get underway. It's the Roos and the Bombers, and we're underway at Morawa. The tap was won decisively by Mitchell. Knocked away to Hutton, trying to track the ball forward, knocks it to the broadcast side of the ground. Salah put his head over the ball, lots of bodies around this. The extraction from Hutton, got it to Gillingham, caught in possession, holding the ball, says the umpire. Good pressure on the ball early from both sides. The free kick is won through Hutton. Mitchell Hutton for Carnamah Perendry. He's going to blast it long inside 50, a high up and under kick. Let Stone sit under it, and out the back, the mark is taken by the defence of Three Springs. They want to go to the outer side, and the mark is taken by McIntosh just inside the boundary underneath the Sportal scoreboard at left half back for Three Springs. Goes short along the boundary line and too close. He wanted the target in Counsellor, but the boundary line wins out, and in this competition it is the last touch rule, so it will be Carnamah Perendry with the free kick on the outer side, left half forward. They're going to chip it inboard to almost a true centre half forward position. Paper talk flew from the side over the back away. Hutton trying to lock it in here for Carnamah Perendry, and his hands missed the target in McIntosh, and so it will be a throw in on the outer side, left half back here for Three Springs, who are kicking to the netball court's end of the ground. Both ruckmen had a piece of it, knocked forward, extracted away. Poutley went in hard for Carnamah Perendry. Lots of bodies around this. Hutton got the clearing kick away, but in defence, Kyle Lane is able to take the intercept mark. So Carnamah Perendry have had it locked in their forward half for the first 2 and a bit minutes of this opening quarter, but the defence of Three Springs holding up well through the hands of Sellers, and it's knocked over the boundary line. We'll have another throw in. Out on the outer side, in the ruck, it's Poutley going up against Osborne. Poutley won the best of it. Got the clearance, high up and under kick, dumping ball to left half forward. Bouncing ball, bounced on ends, beat them all. Counsellor over the back, knocked it forward towards the boundary line, and it goes over and out. And we'll have another boundary throw in. So this ball hasn't travelled far, right on the 50 just about for Carnamah Perendry. With the breeze in this opening term. From the throw-in, Poutley won it down, looking for Hutton, who's had a fast start. Osborne paddled it in front of him, and a push in the back came from Hutton, who's I've been impressed with his start earlier, unfortunately giving away the free kick though. Osborne wanted to switch it out wider to centre wing. One-on-one contest, Poutley putting his head over the footy, and he's able to lock it up for Carnamah Perendry. We'll have another throw up, rather. In fact, it was Iaria for Carnamah Perendry. So from the throw up again, Poutley tapped it down, knocked away now, and they're able to get it through the middle. Carnamah Perendry out to a true centre half forward position for the Roos, bouncing on ends, out to the front to meet it though. A good handball over the back there from Heelan. He got it moving forward, but heavily in defence on the left foot. It's going to land in space. Who's the first to meet it? It's Ryan for Carnamah. He's got a lot of time and space, able to flick their handball inboard, looking for Antonovich. Finds Sellers with a beautiful kick, a low searing ball to a true centre half forward position for the Roos. They go forward again. A one-on-one contest with Paper Talk and Stone in the contest. Bouncing ball away from Paper Talk, and it goes out of bounds, and we'll have a throw in. Couple of metres around from the right goal post here for Carnamah Perendry. That kick from Sellers was a very good one, or rather from Antonovich to find Sellers was a very good one. The kick from Sellers not so good as it went out in the path of Paper Talk. From the throw in, out the front was Burnett, the skipper for the Bombers, able to get front position. bobbling away through, went back in to try and win the footy for his team, bounces towards the goal line, and it's knocked over. So the first score on the board goes in the form of a rush behind to Carnamah Perendri in the first score in the first 5 minutes, 15:47 remaining, and it's Carnamah leading at 1-0. Gillingham on kick-out duties, takes the full distance that is allowed, goes to left half-back, flicked forward, and Hutton is able to get it moving forward again for Carnamah Perendri. There's been a free kick spotted out in all of that, and so it will go back to where it came from. In fact, it's a behind, and so it's another behind for Carnamah Perendri, who take the lead 2 behinds to nothing, but they have had it locked in their forward half. The damn ball bound to break soon, you would think, for Three Springs. Gillingham with a high up and under kick to the outer side, bouncing ball away, knocked away by Rex Heberley, who's able to get it to the safety of the boundary line and get another throw in for his side. Thrown back in, over the back. Hutton again with the clearing kick for Carnamah. Paper Talk, almost the mark completed, not quite. Councillor in the one-on-one contest, able to lock it up. And we'll have a throw in at throw up left forward pocket here for the Roos. Thrown back into play, knocked forward, and there's been a whistle on play, and it's going the way of Carnamah, who will have the first real opportunity at a shot on goal, and it's with Paper Talk. So Len Paper Talk already with 31 goals for the season. This will be a tough kick. He needs to put it out for the Breeze to do the work. He stabs at it slightly, beats them all, falls over the back. And the run and drive now of Paper Talk for the Bombers, able to get it moving forward. Hutton was the intended target. Heberley came through from behind for the Bombers. Flicked wide to Steele for Carnamah. To centre half forward, and the mark is taken by Ryan. He wanted to go short to Sellers and finds him. He's about 45 metres out, directly in front Kobe Sellers for the first goal of the game, and the first for Carnamah. Through the opening 7 minutes, just 2 behind scored. Kobe Sellers, for the first of the day, it's away to the right, it drifts, and that's the end result. 1 behind only, so missed opportunities early for the Roos, who have done all the attacking, 100% of time in forward half for them. The Three Springs Bombers at the moment haven't been able to get it past halfway. Such is the nature of the conditions in the way that the breeze is blowing. It makes it very hard for any real penetration on the ball. They've been going out the outer side more times than not. Gillingham looking up the middle, decides to go out wider still, and looks for the target and finds it in Kamal Paper Talk, who took the mark left half back, wanted to switch it inboard. Had to be a good kick, it was to Lane, able to stop and prop. Found Osborne, who was made to work for it, and in the end worked too hard. He's under pressure now, Ned Osborne caught behind, and he's caught holding the ball. He plays on immediately, shrugged the tackle, shrugged another, found himself in a bit of trouble, had to go back to go forward through Heberley. Under a lot of pressure now, the Three Springs Bombers holding the ball. Good tackle came from Smallwood for the Roos. They really messed that up. Osborne couldn't hold the mark and then was under pressure immediately, had the support in Heberley. But in the end, it couldn't quite work out. Burnett flew for the Bombers, fell to Sellers though, over the top to Ryan, penned up against the boundary line, surely not. The bump affected the kick, and it misses to the near side. So another behind, but good signs early for Carnamah. They lead it at the minute. 8 minutes gone here in the first term. 4 behinds to nothing. You just imagine if they had have been able to kick straight, this scoreboard could have been looking completely different. Three Springs, the top side, wanting to end an 18-year drought. Extraordinary. Gillingham again on kick-in duties as fullback for the Bombers. They go with this huddle setup, leaving the pockets nice and wide and open for him to run into. Spotted his target he liked, and that was Kyle Lane, who takes the mark in front of Sellers at right half-back, broadcast side of Morawa football oval. He dumps it to centre wing where the big targets are. Falls over the back of them all. Tapping it forward was Routledge. Fell into the path of Hutton again. He's had a hot start. Poutley also the skipper. Dumps it inboard. Looking for Stone who had front position. Able to knock it to himself. Paper Talk weaving through them all. Got the handball just in time. Lane working overtime for the Bombers. Found the safety in the boundary line. And he was able to keep it in somehow. Play on, said the umpire. The extracting kick flying from the side was McIntosh. Falling short to Osborne. And there's another whistle on play. And this time it goes the way of Carnamah in the form of Kobe Ryan, right half forward, still some 60 metres from goal. He plays on, unawares to the man on the mark. The pressure came from Osborne. Surely not, what a goal! A great way to start. Kobe Ryan with the running goal. He kicked it from 60. He had no pressure coming from the front. There's the first of the day. And Carnamah get the first through Kobe Ryan. A fantastic goal for him and his team, and he turned to the crowd and revved them up. I didn't think it would have the journey, but he was able to just wheel around and go. And on the Sportal scoreboard, it is Carnamah 1-4-10 to no score for the Bombers. Back in the middle, Poutley knocked it down to Sellers, out the back door to Hutton. Back in turn to Royworth, danced around a couple. Put it inside 50. Paper Talk had front position. Away, knocking it away was Roberts. Good one-on-one defending. Paper Talk recovered the best though. Flicked it to Sellers. Bit of time and space. Went on the left foot. The worm burner to Paper Talk. Beat them all. And it rolls over and out. And so we'll have a throw in 20 metres around from Carnamah's goal on the outer side. 9.5 minutes remaining here in the first term. 10 points is the margin. Over the back was Bone for Three Springs. He couldn't take clean possession, and there's been a free kick picked out and a 50-metre penalty as well, going the way of Three Springs after the kick came late from Carnamah. So this is the first real opportunity that Three Springs have to attack going forward, because it has just lived in the forward half of the Roos at the moment, who have done all the attacking. And the worry really for Jeremy Hebley would be in the middle of the ground at the moment, where they're getting ascendancy, Carnamah. But this time Bone drives it forward inside 50, the first inside 50 of the day for Three Springs. Over the back was Jupp with the defensive spoil, locked up again. We'll have a ball up about 50 metres from home for Three Springs, going against the breeze, kicking to the left of screen in this first quarter. They find themselves 10 points down the scoreboard. Could be a lot worse. Poutley tapped it to space, looking for the boundary line, and he finds it. The umpire says throw it in. So the ball 45 metres from home, again on the outer side, where majority of the ball has been for the opening few minutes, or the opening half of this quarter. Tap forward and running free. Bone Carden is there to escort it over the boundary line though for Carnamah to stop any attack that Three Springs would have had on that occasion. Thrown back into play though. This is dangerous for Carnamah. Dancing through them was Paper Talk. Able to get the front quick kick away, but it's away to the near side and it's one behind only. So Three Springs get their first score on the board. It is in the form of a behind though. They trail by 9 points. 1-4 plays one behind on the Sportal scoreboard. 7.5 minutes gone. But good sign there for Three Springs, able to dance their way through. So from the kick in, it's Jupp, a driving ball to the outer side. It went some 70 metres with this breeze, and they're able to knock it over and out to the boundary line. Carnamah with the throw in about to occur on the outer side, left half back for the Roos. Poutley again knocking it over the back. It's been a clear plan for them so far. Hutton farmed the ball out, looking for Paper Talk, brought down, holding the ball. Good pressure on the ball carrier from Hebley. Able to get the free kick for his side. Not a whole lot of options forward of the ball, just one-on-ones. So he has to drive it to centre half forward to a nest of blue, red and white jumpers, and Jupp was standing in the middle of it all and could take the defensive intercept mark. Looks inboard and finds Sellers. Royworth rather. true centre-half back. He switches it in turn to Waiari, an extreme switch to the broadcast wing. This time with Salas on a true centre wing position. He played on immediately when a searing, raking kick to Kobe Ryan, the sole goal scorer so far today. He was penned up against the boundary line, got the handball over the top to Salas. He got the old 1-2 with Chisholm. Went for goal, Kobe Salas. It's away to the near side. Not letting the wind do its work. And in the end, he had options in the middle of the ground through Stone. Instead went himself. And it's the 5th behind for Carnamah Perendry, 1-5-11. They lead at 10 points to Three Springs, 1 behind on the Sportal scoreboard with 6 minutes remaining in this first term. James Gardner calling all the action for Filming Footy and Dartfish. Great that we can have your company wherever you are around Australia, all the world. Hope you're enjoying the coverage so far in what is a huge day for the North Midlands football, netball and hockey leagues. A big day here in Morawa in the great state of WA. Gillingham again for Three Springs. Plays on, driving ball long to the outer side. A nest of players, and Poutley stood in the middle of them all and took the mark. He's going to pump it back inboard now for Carnamah, looking for Paper Talk over the back, just evaded him slightly. He's able to run back onto it, but in the way of the maul was Bone, who put his body on the line to knock it over and out and stop Paper Talk from possibly collecting and having a shot on goal. Throw in left forward pocket for Carnamah. Knocked forward over the back and escorted again over the line by Kobe Ryan. So a couple of players that have impressed so far today. Hutton for Carnamah Perendry has been very good, so has Kobe Ryan. Criddle tried to collect, couldn't quite. Nest of play, a lot of bodies around this ball, and it's locked up again, and we'll have another throw up. So Three Springs unable to get their switch game going so far today. So they look to now lock it up and conserve a little bit. Paper Talk farmed it out in time though to Dring. He went back to go forward, almost went the wrong way. He did in fact. Hutton was out to meet it for Three Springs, knocked it forward and over and out boundary line. So Mitchell Hutton for Carnamah Perendry has been very strong through the middle of the ground, along with Poutley in the ruck for Carnamah Perendry. Not a whole lot to report on the other side for Three Springs, who have really been up against it so far today, but still find themselves only 10 points behind. 1-5 plays 1 behind, down by the Sportal scoreboard on the outer side. The kick, defensive kick, so a bit of kick to kick at the moment occurring between the two arcs for both these two sides. As ball, Martin has it. We'll have it on the outer side when he gets the ball. Still probably 70 metres from goal. Looked to put the hand pass inboard. Worked out okay for Poutley. Ryan danced his way through. We've seen him kick a long bomb before. Stone was the one-on-one target. It went out the back of him. It was against Wall. And they're both happy to see it bounce over the boundary line with another forward 50 stoppage. So with all the ball that Carnamah have had inside 50, they really should be doing better than what they are. The ball comes out though just in time. Paper Talk for Three Springs walks it over. Have another throw up. So a high stoppage game, a lot of turnovers so far as both sides start to try and feel their way into the game. The tap over the back came from Chisholm. The quick kick from Paper Talk. He was able to get onto the right boot and he does so over the goal umpire's hat for the second of the day. That's his first, Carnamah's second, and reward for effort for not only Lenny Paper Talk, but also for the Carnamah Perendry Roos. That's their second, 2-5. 2-1 behind. 2 minutes to go here in this first term, with thanks to Filming Footy and Sportal, Omnibus, and of course the Archie's footwear, the Archie thongs, which we will be giving away a pair of them at the end of the game, along with the Dartfish beanie to the best player on the ground in the grand final. Poutley with a decisive tap away. Ryan with the clearance, bouncing on end. Paper Talk, he's already kicked one today. Handballed it out, looking for Walton. Got the kick away just in time, but it's away to the left. And it rolls through for a minor score. So goals at the 10-minute mark and the 18-minute mark for Carnamah. Meanwhile, nothing to report for Three Springs, who have it with Gillingham. Left back pocket, driving ball out to a one-on-one. Poutley came from the side, the skipper, and he knocked it over the boundary line. So he's been a predominant figure early who's gained ascendancy, not only in the hit-outs and in terms of getting clearances for his side, but also in the work that he does around the ground. This time rips it straight out of the ruck, kicks it forward. Paper Talk's there, so is Stone. Went with the one mid, trying to knock it forward was Paper Talk. Iaria used his skills to perfection, had to get around onto his right foot, and the short pass was delightful. Good vision from Joey Iaria to find Horsler, who will go back on about a 45-degree angle, 50 metres out from goal. Needs to aim for the left-hand goal post here. Horsler, the kick on its way, it's dead straight. Carnamah with a red-hot start. 3 goals for them. 3-6-24, they lead it. Horsler with his first. They're sharing the goals around today. That's 2 goals in as many minutes for Carnamah. And alarm bells would be starting to ring, you would think, for the Three Springs bench. I know it's only early, but the way that the Carnamah boys are playing is just too good to ignore, particularly in these centre clearances where Poutley is dominating. He does it again, taps it forward this time for Salas to run onto. Paddled it in front of him to his own detriment in the end with McIntosh coming out to meet it. Handballed it back over the top, and the high up and under kick came from the Three Springs defence. Off hands, bounces to Horsler, brought down holding the ball, yes. So pressure on from Osborne. Through the middle was Hutton, a good raking right kick out towards the boundary line near our broadcast position for filming footy. And it'll be a throw in at left half forward here for Three Springs. From the throw in, falls short, tapped away. Paper Talk got the forward handball to Hutton. Look at that kick, a delightful one up to Bruce Cherry, who used his body to his perfection. Saw the space, recognised it. He was a 2-on-1. He read it beautifully, and he now will line up for Three Springs first, and one that they need. Clayton Bruce Cherry, a renowned goal kicker, 57 goals this season. This time on a 45-degree angle. We're going to ride this one the whole way home. Clayton Bruce Cherry. The right foot kick is away to the near side, didn't allow for the wind, and it's through for a minor score. 3-6-24, plays 2 behinds in favour. A 22-point margin in favour of Carnamah per injury on the Sportal scoreboard. Of course, Sportal, all your scoreboard needs covered. It can accommodate for footy, hockey, netball. You can even play movies on there and have a sporting movie night. So from the kick in, goes short to Brendan Hausler in the left back pocket, driving it to centre wing, but in the space, protecting it was Burnett, the captain for Three Springs, diving and taking the mark. Broadcast wing. Plays on, wheels around onto the right, puts it to a dangerous spot, up to the true centre half forward, knocked forward, and there to meet it was Roberts, got the kick going forward, this time for Bruce Cherry, came out to meet it, got the handball over the top to Heavily, off a step, the snap, it looks good, it's high up and under kick, it won't have the legs, and it falls short with Jupp taking the intercept mark and playing on immediately away to Horsler. He went back in turn, Hutton, and he puts his teammate under pressure. In turn, Paper Talk, under a little bit of pressure, tries to spiral it forward, a dumping kick. And the mark is taken by Ashley Bone for Three Springs. Looks inboard, a dangerous looking kick. out to meet it was Antonovich in the 3-on-1 situation. Three Springs will win it out, or do they? Gillingham had the work ahead of him, did it well. Got it out to Hebley on the outer side. Driving the ball forward, it's a tumbling kick. Bruce Cherry there, trapped it in front of him against a couple of Carnamah defenders. Osborne comes in to support him, knocks it out the back door. Again, Perendry's defence standing tall though, dragged it in. Umpire on the wrong side of it. Over the top was Burnett. Rather, in fact, it was Counsellor, for Three Springs, who were able to lock it up. So 40 metres out, directly in front here for Three Springs, where this stoppage is. Knocked away, Counsellor, the kick ricocheted off Sellers' smother. Got it moving forward, Poutley back out to Sellers. His wide sweeping handball to Ryan, already with one today. Wanted Iaria to present, he didn't, and just in front of us, McIntosh takes the mark. Looks inboard to the corridor, and Hutton is able to take the mark. Normally a good user of the ball, this time no exception. Out into the path of Hebley. The work ahead of him with Jupp for company. The bounce evaded heavily, and Jupp was able to win it out in defence for Carnamah. Through the fingertips of Smallwood, falls out the back for Rex Hebley this time, who's able to use his speed and turn and go. Took a bounce with... In pursuit was Steele. Got the kick going forward to Lane on a true centre wing. Wanted an option to come forward. Caught. Surely holding the ball, play on, said the umpire. Paper talk, brought the forward pressure. Got the handball away just in time, over on the outer side. Right half back here for Carnamah. Paper talk able to relieve all the pain for the Roos and get it going forward to a one-on-one situation. Stone's in front and he's able to not quite complete the mark. Dropped at a crucial stage. Caught from behind. Play on, said the umpire. Wall, who's stood up well in defence so far. One of the shining lights for Three Springs early. Bouncing ball towards the defensive 50, and it's knocked over and out. So a good transition play from Carnamah Perendry, who hold a 22-point lead. 3-6 plays two behinds. Both sides with enough opportunity to get the ball moving forward for their sides. Poutley, who's dominated the ruck all day, had no exception on that time. Salah's got it going forward again, and over the back was Fraser, who saw it over the boundary line. Boundary umpire sets himself again as the time ticks away. We're into time on. Paper talk used his strength, ripped it out of the ruck, the quick kick away from the contest, and it's out of bounds on the full. So it was the right idea from Len Paper talk, already with one today. Gold kickers so far. Kobe Ryan, who kicked one at the 10-minute mark of this quarter. Len Paper talk at the 18-minute mark, and Horsler at the 19-minute mark, to give them at that stage a 23-goal lead. At the moment, 22 points in favour of Carnamah. Gillingham takes the free kick from defence. Puts it to right half back. In the front was Poutley, knocked away from him by Travis Lee. They got it out the back now through Hebley, the Bombers, but he's not quite clean enough to get it going forward, and it rolls over the white line. Poutley used his strength, ricocheted. Touch ball, play on, said the umpire. Gillingham took it nonetheless. Wanted to go to the broadcast side. It had to be a good kick, and it was. Found Counsellor in a 2-on-1. Pushes off his opponent in Horsler. Looks inboard, wanting an option to present. Goes to where it came from. Finds Burnett, the skipper, with an extreme switch to where it all began through McIntosh. He runs, takes one bounce, takes another, streams down the outer side. He's going to try and use his pace here. Flicked it over the top. The intended target was Mutter. The hands weren't quite clean, slick enough though. Bouncing ball away for Hebley, caught without it. And it will be his free kick on the outer side. Looking inboard, Hebley. He decides to then dump it long, jump out in front to meet it. Takes another intercept mark, and he's been good also through the early stages of this contest. Goes short to Poutley, who's been just about everywhere. Wheels onto the left, a big booming kick. Paper talks out the back, flew from behind. Bouncing ball in front. Wall was there. In support though was Roberts, who was able to collect and go. Goes to the outer side again, looking for McIntosh, who took the mark in front of Smallwood at left half back. Still a long way from home for Three Springs, who try and pick their way through this defence. Mutter goes out wide to Hebley, took it just inside the boundary line. Tight roping it. Looks inboard, finds the option. This is a renowned part of their game. Lane has it in the dead centre of Morawa Oval here for the 2023 North Midlands Grand Final. Overcooked the kick slightly, looking for paper talk. Handball inside from Criddle, found Iaria. Tried to psych out Osborne, almost did successfully. Bouncing ball shot, using his pace was Criddle. Caught from behind by Osborne, did well. Iaria covered. Got it on his right boot. Lane was left alone. The bounce bowled him over. Clean bowled, you're out, son. Knocking it forward in a 3-on-1 though for the North Midland, Carnamah was Fraser, and the relieving kick came. And it's a holding free kick going the way of Leedham Paper Talk, a former Mullawa Saint in the Great Northern Footy League. Spotted up Bruce Cherry. It was a beautiful kick, almost the mark taken, a higher contact, a high hit, and he's down Clayton Bruce Cherry, hit from behind by Ruben Dring. And we do hope that he's all right. It was a beautiful kick from Leedham Paper Talk. He acknowledged the space and the lead. He saw Bruce Cherry was in front, and he's already had one from here today. Bruce Cherry, not that long ago, he had the kick, and he now has a chance to make amends and get Three Springs first of today. On the approach, Clayton Bruce Cherry for the first for Three Springs. It holds its line, does it? It's away, it's there. The umpire shuffled, but Bruce Cherry gets Three Springs on the board in the grand final for 2023. A much needed goal for the Bombers. And so they go on the Sportal scoreboard to 1-8 to Carnamah, 3-6-24. Can't get over that kick though from Leedham Paper Talk. The way that he was able to wait it out in front of Bruce Cherry, it was always either going to be a mark or a free kick for chop of the arms or high contact from Dring. And it was a desperately needed goal to get this margin down back to a respectable margin. So back in the middle, this time almost the clearance one from the middle from Mutter. Instead, Sellers out the back kicked it out wider to Steele. Left half forward rather, going forward for Carnamah. Wanted Paper Talk, 2 against him, fell out the back. Stone back in turn to Paper Talk. Had to work hard for it, couldn't quite get a handle on it. Away was Burnett, who knocked it over the boundary line. So we wouldn't be too far away from a siren here. That kick from Bruce Cherry at the 29-minute mark got it back to 16 points. 24 plays 8. Ball bobbles around. Gillingham in there. Knocked it out the back, and there's been a whistle on play. And there's the siren for quarter time. There'll be a free kick going the way of Poutley, who will have, or rather Sellers, Kobe Sellers, who will have a shot after the siren. It looked like Poutley was going to line up for it. Instead, the free kick for Sellers. This to put the margin back out to 22 points. Kobe Sellers from the 50-metre arc. It's not going to have the journey nor the inaccuracy. So that's quarter time in the North Midlands Footy League Grand Final for 2023. At quarter time, it is Carnamah 3-6-24. They lead Three Springs 1-8 here at Morawa Footy Oval. James Gardner in the commentary box, and a very handy lead for Carnamah, who had the wind. They lead it by 16 points. Goal kickers, Kobe Ryan with 1, Len Paper Talk with 1, and also Brandon Hulsler with 1 as well for Carnamah, while for Three Springs, Bruce Cherry kicked the last of the term to get it back within 16 points. So 24-8 is the scoreboard at quarter time. James Gardner in the box. We'll take a quick break and be back with the second quarter after this. when you're ready to go back home. Welcome back along to Morawa Footy Oval for the 2023 North Midlands Football League Grand Final between Carnamah Perenjori and Three Springs. I can tell you, James Gardner in the commentary box, keeping you afternoon. You're enjoying the call so far for filming footy and dart fish. I can tell you that at the moment it is the underdogs, Carnamah, the runners-up from last year, leading it 3-6-24 to Three Springs 1-2-8. Goal scorers for the Roos, Kobe Ryan, Len Papertalk and Brendan Halsler, all with one apiece, while for Three Springs, Clayton Bruce Cherry kicked their single goal right on the stroke of quarter time in the first quarter. So the second quarter almost about to get underway. Both these sides looking to end respective droughts. For Three Springs, their last was way back in 2005. Gee whiz, wasn't that a long time ago? While for Carnamah, 2012 was their last one. They were runners-up last year, as I mentioned. They come into this as the underdog, but they have had a fast start, largely thanks to a strong breeze that is going from left to right, favouring the scoreboard end of the ground, the right of screen, at which the Three Springs Bombers are kicking to. So we're back underway in the second quarter. Out of the middle was Malta, got it going forward. Out the back to his teammate in Roberts, a high up and under kick up to the teeth of goal. A heavy contest, knocked out the back. They're going to need to worry about this one here. The Carnamah defence, sloppy defence, and it falls to Clayton Bruce Cherry on the goal line, who gets the first of the quarter. That's his second. And a very good goal indeed for Clayton Bruce Cherry, who gets it to 10 points on the Sportal scoreboard. A prolific goal kicker heading into today's, kicked 57 goals, make that now 59. So a ring-a-ding battle at the moment. Mutta got the clearance this time, falling the way of Roberts, who's got the clearance yet again, or rather Papertalk, and in defence, though, standing tall was Heelan, who took the intercept mark at full back. The relieving kick, not quite. Bruce Cherry on the mark, ricocheted off. Bouncing ball, so they're now under a bit of pressure, Carnamah, which they didn't experience in the first quarter. Dring with the clearing kick. It's going to come straight back through heavily. Put it to the teeth of goal. Over the back was Jupp. How does the umpire see this? He says, give it to me. We'll have a ball up. Deep in the forward pocket for the Three Springs Bombers. Kicking with a 4-goal breeze in this quarter. Knocked forward. Bruce Cherry wrapped up, and it's a high tackle. So he's going to have the chance to get his third. Clayton Bruce Cherry. He got the free kick, put his head over the footy. This for a third straight goal for himself and for the Three Springs Footy Club. On a tight angle, good side for a right footer. The kick looked good, it certainly was. The goal umpire did not have to move. 3 straight now for the Three Springs Bombers, who have come out with a fast start here in the second term. They get it to 4 points after trailing by 16 at quarter time. They've worked their way back into this game. They trail it 3-2. 20 to 3-6-24 on the Sportal scoreboard. Here for filming footy and dartfish, they're starting to gain ascendancy in the middle through Mutta, who wins another hit out. This time locked up though with Gillingham, and so there'll be another throw up just metres away from the centre square. Gillingham getting up a little gingerly. This time though, falls the way of Roberts, who's won a couple of repeat clearances now. Gets it inside 50 just. Heavily flicked it out wider, looking for the option. But the defensive Jupp, or rather, Jupp rather, was Jupp out there on the outer side. Left half back. Pulte wrestles with Mutta. This time he got it over the back, but it falls the way of Three Springs. Bouncing ball inside 50. Gets over the back of the defence of Balngareth, and Wounding his way through was Paper Talk, who fell to the front of the contest. A couple of dad steps, and suddenly the Three Springs Bombers have hit the front. Carnamah Paper Talk gives the Bombers the lead. In danger signs for Carnamah. The ball starting to be won through the middle for Three Springs. And that time, Carnamah Paper Talk made something out of nothing. Thrown back up, Polty. They need to start to get him going again. Likewise, Hutton tried to paddle it in front of him. Had to try and go in again, and Sellers will be the recipient of a kicking in danger. Free kick after Paper Talk was a little overzealous. Overcooked the kick a little bit. Sellers got out scoots out the back lane, tried hard. Out to meet it, Burnett. With a clearing kick into the corridor. Knocked away Mutter, tried to get it to the back. Coming out wide to Steele. He in turn got it to Royworth. He put it inside 50. Stone just went over his head. And Paper Talk able to stop and prop. Gave it to Wall. His first touch of today. And a nice, well-weighted kick. Got it forward to Roberts. Normally a good user of the footy. This time no exception. Paper Talk got it off the bounce. Didn't quite have enough toe about him. Had to go back to go forward through Hutton. Put it to centre half forward. The big toe poke came away from Jupp. Got it going forward for Carnamah. Through into the middle of the ground. Ricocheted off. Heavily did well. Or rather Hutton did well to affect the handball. Coming in through was Hutton. And Lane. Got it. With a wide sweeping handball, this time Paper Talk. Got it over the top to Mutter. Streams to the paint of 50. Puts it inside 50. At the front of the contest was Bruce Cherry. Already with 3 today. Handballed it back over the top. Heavely's there in support. Another renowned goal sneak. Down nearby the boundary line. Surely couldn't get a goal from here. Tried to set up a teammate in Bruce Cherry. Knocks to the front and diving all on top of it. The Carnamah defenders who have infringed and given away a free kick. And so, for 5 straight goals for the Three Springs Bombers, and Clayton Bruce Cherry, for his 4th, he gets it, no doubt about it. Never looked like missing. 5 straight for the Bombers in this, 4 straight in this quarter, 5 straight throughout the game. They go to 5-2, 32. Alarms bells now ringing for Riley Barham and Carnamah, who trail 3-6-24. He's throwing his hat in the ring for the Archie's player of the game. Back in the centre now. Away, extracting it was Hutton. Got it back and got it from the 1-2. On the right boot, puts it to half forward. Out in front, Routledge tried to bustle his way through a couple. Osborne got it to his right, the check side, banana kick, and it works fine. With Heavily out on the lead, he read it well, and then he went right over the top. And the mark taken by his teammate in Burnett, it looked like, or Heavily. It's hard to tell from here. We'd like him to turn around and show us his number. But down nearby the scoreboard, which reads 5-2-32 to 3-6-24 in favour of the Bombers. The kick on its way, leans back slightly, but it's there. Another goal, that time Heavily. Rex Heavily chimes in for the Three Springs Bombers, who've had it all their own way here in the second term. 38-24. A fast start. That's now 6 straight to them. 6 unanswered goals. 5 in this quarter. 1 right on the stroke of quarter time from Clayton Bruce Cherry, who's kicked 4 himself with singles to Paper Talk, and now Rex Heavily. Locked in the middle, at the bottom of the pack, Hutton, who's been a great servant the Three Springs Football Club. So from being down 24-8 at quarter time, they have thrown all the punches, Three Springs, after being on the ropes early. Heavily stood tall in the contest, had a bit of time and space to work out his next option. Ricocheted back to him down the broadcast wing. High up and under kick, looking over the back for Paper Talk. Already has one today. McIntosh to Routledge with a searing ball to Roworth. He went in turn to the outer side, Iaria, who's been quiet early. He had a goal assist in the first term, but apart from that, hasn't done a lot. Hutton had a fast start. He's yet to be really sighted. Poutley, his first real impact on this quarter. Normally a good kick. He looked for Stone, overcooked the kick slightly. Ball trickles out the back. And the defence able to relieve it. Bouncing ball almost evades Antonovich, who was able to recover well enough up against the boundary line, trying to fend his way out of it. And unsuccessful in doing so. The defence of Three Springs, that left half foot wasn't great from Steele, and Paper Talk sees it over the boundary line. Roberts was caught in possession just before it left half back for Three Springs. Thrown back into play, falls short. Lane with a kick forward, bounces free. Criddle left alone, has options aplenty. Iaria was met solidly by Hebley, who defended well. Iaria recovered best though, tried to bring it back in forward for himself. 3-on-1 situation, he turned into the tackler on Burnett. And we'll have a throw up, a stoppage. The first one of few inside 50s so far in this second quarter. Relieving it is Hutton with the left kick. But away to meet it was Hutton for Carnamah, who went short to Sellers. It doesn't look like he's got the journey in him. He's looking for options up forward. He's against a strong breeze here, Kobe Sellers. 40 metres out from goal, still 2 kicks away. Paper Talk out on the lead, couldn't quite hold the mark. Defended really well there by Councillor. Had to keep it in front of him. Iaria tried hard. Extracting it away, Lane got it from Hutton, was put under a bit of pressure, met solidly by a couple of Carnamah representatives. Knocked out the back and finds Hutton, who started fast and is able to spot the kick up to Roworth. Calls of 50 not given. And so Bradley Roworth, 40 odd metres out from goal, nearly directly in front in what is a much needed goal to hit back at the Three Springs Bombers and get them within 8 points. Brad Roworth kick on its way, didn't look good from the moment it left the boot. It falls short though, stays in play. Sellers tried hard, War with the toe poke. Lane was there, caught, holding the ball. Sellers, the forward pressure enormous. As I mentioned, any opportunities they need to take here. Carnamah per injury ruse. This is going to be a tough kick. This will take his best, Kobe Sellers, to answer to 6 unanswered goals and to get them back within 8 points. Kobe Sellers, the kick looks all right. It's across the face of goal though and through for a minus score. So that's their first in the quarter. After they took the lead at quarter time, Carnamah, they trail 6-2-38 to 3-7-25 on the Sportal scoreboard. Running it out of defence is McIntosh for Three Springs. A wide, big kick up to Hebley, who took the mark and played on immediately. Went to centre half forward and the mark taken by Taylor. Still 60 metres out from goal. Spots the kick up, looking for Bruce Cherry, who's down on his knees, sliding, bounced off his chest. Tries to recover again, did so effectively. Possibly caught higher. Play on, said the umpire. Said he ducked, and the defence of Carnamah, who have been under the pump his second term. Jump went out wide over the top, almost the mark taken by McIntosh. That would have been some highlight. Over the back though is Criddle. Goes inboard to Horsler. Back in turn, Poutley. Wide sweeping handball. Back in turn to Ryan. Sellers had to get it going forward because the pressure's enormous at the moment from the Bombers. Roworth caught in possession. Holding it, and the umpire says we'll ball it up. On the edge of the centre square, forward of centre here for Carnamah. 60, 70 metres out from goal. Both ruckmen had a piece of it. Hutton tracked it. Iaria got it for Carnamah. A short kick away. Look, found his teammate in Jupp and looked for paper talk, and it was knocked away in defence by Councillor, who has done really well to hold lend paper talk to just the one goal so far today. Thrown back into play. Both ruckmen were holding. Spout held unintentionally, and the umpire picks out the free kick to give him an opportunity to try and hit back at Three Springs, because although they have the lead, it's not a massive one. 16 points, or rather 14 points is the margin at the moment. The kick, no score, goes across the face. One-on-one situation, knocked forward. Roworth, a high up and under kick towards the boundary line near our broadcast position. How does it bounce? It bounces away from all of them. The whistle blows. Ryan thought that he'd maybe kept it in well enough, but we'll have a throw up right in front of our commentary box for filming footy. James Gardner on the call for you. Glad to have your company throughout this afternoon. Hope you're enjoying the call. Osborne did the ruck work, fell to the front. Handball over the top. Came to Roworth. He went back in turn to Hutton, who had a fast start. The wide sweeping handball forward to Steele. The left foot kick inside 50. Stone out on the lead. This time takes the mark. A key cog to the Carnamah forward line, Jack Stone. With 35 goals this year, yet to have an opportunity today. On a slide angle, Jack Stone on the approach, it goes away to the left. He never gave that an opportunity to come back. And so it is 3 for the minor score. So this quarter, 3-8-26 for Carnamah, plays 6-2-38 for Three Springs. Mutter at left half back. A 2-on-1 situation in favour of the red and black of the Bombers. Osborne, given a bit of time and space, able to take a run down the broadcast side. Took a bounce, then had to retreat. Takes a bit of time off the kick, and the kick wasn't a great one. It was into the path of Heelan, who in the end took an uncontested intercept grab in the right back pocket for Carnamah. This breeze starting to pick up. A bright sunny day here at Morawa. Poutley, he's had a pretty good game. Wanted to check the kick inboard to Ryan. It went over the head of him though. Hebley was there, knocked it forward. Paper talk, wheeled around onto the right to a 2-on-1. Out the front, Bruce Cherry, know what he can do in front of the goals. This time though, it was a little too much of a tall task for him. And it's over and out for a throw in. They're certainly not out of this one though, Carnamah. Although it does, all the momentum is with Three Springs, who have kicked 6 straight goals here since Bruce Cherry's goal right on the stroke of quarter time. Left half back with Iaria down by the scoreboard, but you feel Carnamah really need to get a goal here to try and trim this margin back before half time. The clearing kick away, and standing in between them all was Councillor. Roberts rather. Wheels around, and the kick again. Uncontested grab taken by Hutton with the white headband rather. Wanted to spot the kick short, puts Halsler under pressure. He had enough class to get out of the 2-on-1 situation and found Poutley at left half back. Wants to try and chip his way through this. Paper talk a long way from home. Plays on. We know how good a kick he is. Puts it to centre half forward, looking for the option in Spout, who hasn't had a lot of opportunity today. Routledge rather, came through and he was caught holding the ball. He's a bit bemused at where his prior opportunity was. Play on though, said the umpire. They take the advantage. Three Springs. It was out into the path of Taylor, but with the pace, Hutton was able to relieve it all. The handball wasn't a great one. Osborne brought down from behind by Criddle. Falls short and now finds Chisholm over the top to Hebley, already with one today. Caught with the ball. Chisholm had to follow up his good work and tried to get it moving forward. Hebley, the defence relieves it though. In the Carnamah defence. And so Hebley again pumps it back inboard. And the mark taken in defence by Jared Jupp for Carnamah. Going short, down near by the scoreboard. And the kick wasn't a great one, overcooked it, and Gillingham takes the mark. Kick from Horsler wasn't great. The kick inside 50 was okay though. It'll work out. Paper Talk tried hard. The defensive handball over the top wasn't hard and tried to trap it in front of him. Did so successfully. Wheels around onto his trusty left boot. It's swinging back. Does it get there? It doesn't. It's a behind. For Reece Hutton, superstar of the competition. And it's through for a minor score. 6-3, 39 rather, to 3-8, 26. From the kick in. The left's back pocket, the bounce. Wasn't a kind one. Works out okay and goes over and out for a boundary throw in. So this quarter has belonged to the Bombers in this grand final, looking to end an 18-year drought. 2005 was their last premiership. From the throw-in, out the front was Paper Talk, tried to get it going forward for his side. Paper Talk, though, for the Bombers, able to get it to Hebley, puts it inside 50, and again, taking the mark is Hutton in defence, who read it the best out of the lot. In the left back pocket, spots the kick short to Routledge. In defence for Carnamah per injury. Wanting to go again out the outer side where majority of this ball has been, as Paper Talk takes a very strong contested grab and one that they needed to take. Where does he go ahead of the ball? Not a whole lot of options. Umpire calls into play on, decides to switch it short to Horsler at centre half back. An extreme switch now to the broadcast side. A dangerous looking kick. Iaria had to work for it. Hodder made it work for Gillingham, who put it inside 50 looking for Bruce Cherry. But again, in the way was Hutton. That's a couple of intercept marks for him now, who's been one of the better players for Carnamah. So Roworth spots the kick short to Danny Criddle. Along the broad in front of a pretty good crowd near the club room. Spoiled from behind, came from Burnett, the skipper. Flicked it out the back to Hebley. Back in turn to Gillingham. He wanted to get the hands to Spout. Slipped through his fingers. In and under the pack. And there's been a whistle on play from the non-officiating umpire for a push in the back. Going the way, Nigel Routledge, who was dealt with afterwards. After he got rid of the ball. Spots the kick inboard to Iaria. And the mark is paid after Burnett came through and pushed from the side. Handballed it to the run of Routledge. And on the right, it wasn't a great kick, and Lane is able to pick it off again. So this game played between the arcs through these these late stages of the second quarter. Hebley with a lot of time and a lot of space, able to take a couple of bounces, then spot the kick out in front of Hodder, who couldn't hold on to the mark, and it rolls over the boundary line. At left half forward for the Three Springs Bombers, who entered as favourites after getting a direct ticket into the grand final after defeating the Magpies in the second semi-final a few weekends ago by a big margin indeed. Out of the ruck, Hutton, and now Iaria, able to just glide his way through and then put it for Smallwood, who was knocked away from by Counsellor, to get another stoppage on the outer side. Poutley again in the ruck for Carnamah against Hutton. He won the best of it that time, Poutley. Wanted Paper Talk, fell to Iaria. Spots it inside to Spout, who is out on the lead and takes a nice contested grab. Has Stone one-on-one against Wall, wanting it forward of the ball. The kick wasn't a great one though. Instead went the shorter option. Burnett glides his way through, checks the kick to Osborne, who is able to stop and prop and take a bit of time off the clock. Looks inboard. The kick wasn't a great one. Could work out okay though. Dancing his way through was Hutton. Onto the right boot of his to Hodder. In a 2-on-1 situation, extracting it away was Hutton. Wanted to go to the outer side, a dangerous looking kick. Left all the work for Heisler to do against Hebley, who we know can kick goals. He tries to work over his opponent in Heisler, who did well to get it away to Iaria and withstand the attack. Hebley trying to track down Iaria. Goes short inboard to Smallwood, who takes the mark inside the centre square. The kick overcooked and McIntosh tried to get it going forward and gave it to Paper Talk, who throws it on the boot and tumbles it forward. Routledge wants the 1-2 through Criddle, who was under pressure the whole time. Got the kick away just in time. This time, Paper Talk got it away to Hebley. He can run to 50. He has his sights set on goal. It's a high up and under kick. Bruce Cherry in a 2-on-1 situation. It's going to fall over the back for Paper Talk to almost run into an open goal. Stuffed it up though. Bruce Cherry knocked it forward and there's been a whistle on play and it's through for a minor score. So Paper Talk could have, if he wanted to, run into the open goal. Instead, Sportal scoreboard ticks over to 6-4-40, 3-8-26 for Carnamah, who had the lead at quarter time. Hutton, the relieving kick. Osborne took front position and the mark is paid to the man in front, played on, was almost brought down and put his teammate in Chisholm under pressure. Osborne had to dance around Sellers, sold a bit of candy, then puts it inside 50 for Bruce Cherry on the siren. Half-time in the North Midlands Grand Final for half-time for 2023. And at half-time, after trailing 24-8 at three-quarter time, Three Springs take the lead. At half-time, they lead it 6-4-40 to 3-8-26. A big quarter for the Three Springs Bombers. They kicked 5 straight in that quarter to make it 6 unanswered goals. Carnamah weren't without their chances though. Goal kickers, firstly for Three Springs, Bruce Cherry has got 4 to his name. Kamal Paper Talk with 1 and Rex Hebley with 1, while for Carnamah, Kobe Ryan has 1, Len Paper Talk with 1, and Brendan Halsler with 1. So the job ahead of Carnamah here, the underdogs. After they took the lead, they trail by 14 points. 40 plays 26 at halftime here at Morawa. James Gardner calling all the action for Filming Footy, with thanks to Filming Footy and Dartfish, the Archie Footwear, Sportal, and of course also the Omnibus Igniter. So we'll take a quick break and be back with more, back with second half action right after this.
Do you want to head down for a bit?
Sorry?
Do you want to head back down for a bit?
Yeah, right.
There's no children running around beneath us again, are there? Oh, you're right.
Pretty scrappy game of footy, like it's just being kicked.
I was impressed with that last goal, though.
Oh yeah, the way that Three Springs play.
Yeah. Was that 5 goals?
Yeah, I kicked 5 in that.
Far out. trying to turn it off. But it's unplugged, so I mean, they can hear. They shouldn't be able to hear us. You know.
Oh no, I just got a text and said that it's still on.
Oh. If you want. Did you turn it off?
Yeah, I turned it off.
I might just.
were high in footy in WA, and they are right behind this project, so which is fantastic.
Well, Dave, we can't thank you enough, mate. We've come in here today. We've all dressed in the orange fluoros, and you've taken us pretty much through every vehicle you've got here and into the front. We've been in one side of the cabin, out the other. We've been up and down and around, and you're so transparent with everything. And that's I think the beauty of anyone doing business with a company is the transparency and the communication, ongoing communication. So do we need to adjust this, make the height a bit higher, a bit lower, whatever? And you guys are up to it. You know, anything that's been changed along the way, you say, let's have a look at that. We reckon we can draw that up and change it. And mate, as we said, you know, something as simple as a fully automated lid.
Welcome back along to Morawa Football Oval here for the North Midlands Football League Grand Final for 2023. On Dartfish and Filming Footy, great to have your company wherever you are around Australia or the world. These two sides are locked in a fierce battle. Three Springs and Carnamah. At half-time, we can tell you the scores are 6-4-40 to 3-8-26 in favour of the Bombers, who in this turn will be kicking against the breeze to the left of screen down to the netball court end of the ground here in Morawa. Goal kickers for both sides for Carnamah. Their three goal scorers are Kobe Ryan, Len Papertalk and Hausler, while for Three Springs, the Bombers, Clayton Bruce Cherry has kicked 4 goals to lead a spirited fight back, along with Carnamah, Papertalk and Rex Hebley, who each have singles themselves. So they were down by 16 points at quarter time. The Bombers, they have fought their way back into the game with thanks to the last 6 goals going their way to take a 14-point lead at half-time, 40-26. Some of them are players racing good through the middle, along with in the ruck, Liam Mutter for the Bombers, as well as Len Papertalk, who's provided plenty of drive, and obviously then Clayton Bruce Cherry up forward with his 4 goals. On the Carnamah, from Carnamah's point of view, Jared Jupp's been solid down back. He's taken a lot of intercept marks. I've really liked the game of Mitchell Hutton as well. I think he's done some good stuff. Kobe Salah, his disposals let him down at times, but on the whole, he's been pretty good. And I've really liked the game of Riley Poutley through the ruck. Really enjoying that battle as well between him and Liam Mutter for Three Springs. So the umpires making their way out onto the ground. So they're just some of the contenders for the Archie Thongs and Beanie for the best players from today's game, which will be posted up on our Facebook page, on the Filming Footy Facebook page, so make sure you keep right across all our socials. It's great to have you along. Hope you're enjoying the call. This is a cracking contest. It's a tight arm wrestle. It's country footy at its best in a true country ground with gum trees lining the boundary line and a very good crowd in what has been a massive day for this competition over the netball and also the hockey grand finals, along with the junior grand finals, which was won by Dongra a little earlier on. So the players are dispersing back out into their positions, about to get the second half underway for Carnamah. You would think that they would need to have a pretty solid lead heading in to three-quarter time if they are to win this game. This breeze really has died down since the first half, and as we say that, it starts to pick up slightly again, but it has been favouring the right of screen, the end to which Carnamah are kicking in this third turn. The Premiership quarter, as it's known, for Three Springs, this could set up their first flag since 2005, while for Carnamah, they are looking to avenge last year's defeat in the grand final. Runners up from last year, they finished in third, they've fought their way into the grand final. They find themselves 14 points behind here at half-time. We're about to get the third term underway. James Garner in the commentary box. The umpire holds the ball aloft. 14 points the buffer for the Bombers. And we're back underway. Poutley read it best, was able to take it out, almost missed his boot though. Trickles away to Osborne, who fought his way through, and then the intercept mark taken by Kobe Ryan for Carnamah. Looks to go to the outer side, bouncing ball out into the path of McIntosh. He went back in turn to Ryan where it all began. He puts it inside 50, inside the centre square rather. Gillingham came through with this defensive spoil. They were able to win it out though, Carnamah, through paper talk, looking for Spout. Over his head, bouncing ball into the path of Roworth. Tried to get it moving forward, but the defence again standing firm through Hebley. With the relieving kick to the outer side and the mark taken by Reece Hutton. We know how good a user of the footy he is. That time that kick wasn't his best, but Hebley was in front and able to make it work. A long handball to centre wing on the outer side, and the kick wasn't great from Hutton. They got it to Sellers now, Carnamah, and the mark taken up forward by Routledge, who has been swung forward. He plays on immediately and pops it over the top to Joey Iaria, who takes the mark on a 45-degree angle. About 30 metres out from goal, 35 metres out from goal. This would take a pretty good kick. One that they need here, Carnamah, to end a run of 6 goals. Joey Iaria arcs around. Does it swing back? It does, but not far enough as he misses to the near side. So the first score on the board for this third term. They've had enough opportunities, Carnamah. 3-9-27 to 6-4-40. On the Sportal scoreboard. Don't forget the Sportal scoreboard. You can get any sport you like up there. You can even play movies and play highlights, training videos, etc. It has it all, the Sportal scoreboard. In the meantime, out on the outer side, the kick a little wayward in the path of Reece Hutton, who sees it over the boundary line. Thrown back into play. Poutley over the back, tried to knock it forward. Instead, it falls to Hebley. Puts it into the path of his good mate in Ned Osborne, who doesn't quite have enough pace to win it out as the boundary line beats them all. Centre wing, outer side. 13 points the margin as the temperature begins to drop a little. Roworth with the clearing, dumping high up and under kick. In a 2-on-1 situation, they win out through Burnett here, the Bombers. Bouncing ball away, paper talk locked in a 1-on-1. In goes Roworth, got it out the back. Looking for Hutton, Mitchell Hutton. Puts it high up and under kick and out the back. Jason Wall in the 1-on-1 against Stone wins out. He's had the best of the battle today. The kick wasn't a great one though. Hebley needs to use all his pace and smarts here, and he does so against Iaria. A great contest there from young Rex. Took a bounce, then puts it out out to his teammate in McIntosh, who plays on immediately. Wheels around. 1-on-1 contest out the back. Hodder tried to nudge under Baumgarten under the ball and did so successfully. Ancevic for Carnamah relieves, but Iaria just misses a foot or two of height to get that one. Hebley switches immediately into the centre. Hutton under a bit of pressure from Roworth. Puts it inside 50. The late bumper affected the kick. The mark couldn't be completed though by Heelan. Opens the door for Three Springs. They're able to relieve it, or are they? Carnamah met solidly by Hutton. Is player there for Carnamah in McIntosh. Thrown back up. Poutley had the best of it. Sellers, bigger body, tried to get his way through. Ancevic, who's Jupp, who's done some good stuff today likewise. Roworth, Sellers, able to just tightrope his way along the boundary line with a neat little ball, trying to get it out. They couldn't though. On that occasion, the Three Springs Bombers put inside 50. Stone in front, takes the mark against Wall, and now has the chance to get his first. A known goal kicker in this competition, Jack Stone, with 35 goals. And he desperately needs this for himself and for his team. Can this be the confidence starter for Jack Stone? 39 goals this year, a couple of opportunities already. The kick on its way, it looks pretty good. Does it have the journey? It doesn't, it's touched on the goal line. And the goal umpire and the umpire will confer. Landon Paper Talk rather, were on the goal line, thought it was there, so did Joe. The goal umpire wasn't the best. He's paid it a goal. So the goal stands to Jack Stone in bizarre circumstances. The first of the third term, and it breaks a run of 6 goals from Three Springs. Gets it to 7 points, 40 plays 33, 4-9 for Carnamah, 6-4 for Three Springs, the minor premiers in 2023. Ball back in the middle. Poutley just rips it out of there, slaps it forward to half forward and out to meet it. Criddle tried to dance his way through. A little toe poke came from Paper Talk. Osborne straight onto it, used his pace, stepped around Burnett, tried to get the handball over the top to himself, did so eventually, stepped around a couple, heads it to Heavily. He sees the goals inside, the kick looks good. Is it there? It's not, it's away. Across the face of goal and through for a minor score. So the first point for Three Springs this time in the third term. 8 points the margin. Jupp with the kick in to the outer side, looking for Poutley. Little coat hanger, yes it was, from Mutter, who just got a little overzealous with the spoil, or the attempted spoil. Went inboard to Ryan. Another chip kick to Roworth, former Rover Demon in the GNFL. Bradley Roworth goes to his right, looking for Spout, but in the way of the maul was Bone, who takes the intercept mark, true centre half back position. Goes short out to Paper Talk, who plays on immediately, takes a bounce, streaming through the middle of Morawa, sights up Clayton Bruce Cherry in a 2-on-1, knocked it away from the defensive Heelan, and then recovered best, Clayton Bruce Cherry for 5! And what a magnificent 5 it has been from Clayton Bruce Cherry. He hits back and extends the margin back out to 14 points. Wowee, 5 in a grand final. Clayton Bruce Cherry, he entered with a target on his back. He'd kicked some 57 goals for this season, now 62. A superstar of this competition. And it is a 14-point buffer to Three Springs. A lot of hard work ahead of the Roos now, who just could not get any fluency up forward. Bouncing off half-back, Paper Talk, streaming through the middle. Bruce Cherry was against 2. Put it to his own advantage and then waltzed into an open goal square, and with the celebration to go with it. Poutley missed it. Paper Talk caught high possibly. Play on, said the umpire, fell loose. Poutley again just hacking it forward for Paper Talk to run onto. Tried to dance around a couple. Caught, almost holding the ball. Gillingham flicked it back and relieving his Bone. Puts it up, and a nice mark taken by Hebley. Has run in support of Mutter. Takes a bounce, the big fella. He's got Mutter for Carnamah for company. 2-on-1 contest. Knocked forward. Hebley off over the top. Stepping around a couple. He stepped them all out. Holding the ball, surely. Yes. Just a little overzealous. And Ryan was able to bring him down. It was McIntosh. Got the kick going forward to Poutley. On the outer side, defensive side of the centre circle for Carnamah. Salah's 1-on-1, falls over the back. Heavily recovered well. Handballed it over to Paper Talk. We've seen this movie before. Wanted to spot the kick up to Karma. Paper Talk. He's 2-on-1, now 3. The cavalry arrived for Carnamah. The handball over the top from Ryan was an okay one. Handball came out the back. And Mutter caught without it. Caught holding the ball, and Iaria will get the free kick for Carnamah. They need to get a bit of transition footy happening here as it falls in the lap of Fraser. Centre wing, broadcast side, just in front of our commentary position for filming footy. Great to have your company this afternoon on your Saturday afternoon, and Bone again taking another intercept mark. He's really stood up this quarter with his intercept marking game. Poutley put his body on the line but just couldn't quite complete it. Mutter through the middle, high up and under, searing ball, a long kick. Clayton Bruce Cherry on hands and knees, headed it over to Mutter, who misses. It looked good off the boot, thought it was there, and that would have really put a nail in the coffin of Carnamah per injury. Instead, it's a minus score only. Every time Carnamah have tried to move forward, they've just been stopped dead in their tracks by a stingent defence of Three Springs. Jupp with a booming kick to the outer side, right half back, and free kick's been picked out, going the way of Criddle for Carnamah. In fact, it's Poutley. Wants to go short, finds the option of Smallwood. Centre wing, outer side. Still some 16 points behind here, Carnamah. They need a goal desperately. Is Hutton the man to provide it? He puts it inside 50, but it's over the head of Stone. It was not to his advantage, and Wall runs back with the flight, takes the mark. Goes short to left half back. A lot of players in this. Spoil came from behind. Ripping it out of there was Bone for Three Springs. Came out Hutton. Now Paper Took with the kick, firing kick away. It's away to the near side and it bounces away. And it misses everything. Over and out for what will be a boundary throw in. 48 plays 33. 7-6 to 4-9. Carnamah with more than enough opportunity going forward, particularly in that first quarter. Grabbing it out of there, Reece Hutton for Three Springs, and in defence though, Poutley. He can run inside 50, the big fella, the skipper for a captain's goal. He gets it, and he breathes a bit of life into this Carnamah outfit. Desperately needed goal. Poutley gets it. On the Sportal scoreboard, they hit back. 7-6, 48 to Carnamah, 5-9, 39. A 9-point margin. And this game is really heating up. As I mentioned, though, I do feel as though Carnamah need a lead heading into three-quarter time because they have really struggled going forward. They've had more than enough opportunity, but they just haven't been able to seize them. Poutley, the goal scorer, slapped it back. Paper Took had a couple of bites of the cherry, eventually tumbled a kick forward. Heavily was there, as to Bruce Cherry, tried to knock it forward and out the back, paddling it to his teammates' advantage. It was McIntosh, Connor McIntosh of Carnamah, so last names are plenty on both sides, and Borgmonth does the ruck work. Falls out the back to Ryan. His handball towards the boundary line. Lane tried hard. Bruce Cherry went for the body instead of the ball. Ended up okay though. Freed heavily up and he was caught holding the ball. Now Hutton takes the advantage and plays on. Goes through the middle with a searing little drop punt. Found the chest of Routledge. He in centre area. Out to Horsler on the broadcast side. Held up well by Heavily. Brought from behind area. Wanted the free kick. Play on, said the umpire. Lane was there putting his body over the line. And again, anytime Carnamah look like they are going forward, they're able to just stop them dead in their tracks. Three Springs. And they get the ball up. True centre wing position. Broadcast side. Poutley slapping it forward. Trying to track it down was Hutton. Instead, out the back, Jerome McIntosh takes a bounce, streaming down the broadcast wing. Wanted the option to present in Eva. Couldn't quite, though. Brought down by Ryan. Excuse me. We'll have a throw up. Forward of centre. In front of our broadcast position here for filming footy. Poutley again against Mutter. It's been a great contest all day. Heavily brought down by Iaria. We'll have a restart. Both ruckmen have had their moments. Poutley with a big one just before to get them within touching distance and to breathe a bit of hope into this Carnamah side as we get another throw in between both benches here at Morawa Sporting Complex. From the throw in, Poutley had front position, ripped it out of the ruck, tried to get a clearing kick, he couldn't quite, missed his boot. Handball away from Mutter to Gillingham, screws it around the body, looking for Heavily down in front. In front to Rove it was Timmy Steele. He's wrapped up and we'll have a throw up. Dead on 50 for Three Springs, left half forward. Grabbing it out of the ruck, Hutton, straight onto the left boot, looking for Bruce Cherry. Double teamed, somehow at the back, he might still get it. He had to have a couple of bites at it. Then he had time to recover. How good is this man? 2 on him, doesn't matter. Bruce Cherry has 6 for today, including 2 in this quarter, to extend it back out and to really put Carnamah to the sword. Halfway through the third term, 54 plays 39. Three Springs look like they are on their way. Although it is the third quarter, they've got one hand on their first Premiership Cup since 2005. Simply an inability to make the most of their opportunities, particularly early in the first quarter. Per injury, Carnamah. And it's going to come back and bite them. Poutley still giving it his best in the middle. Ryan tried to get it going forward. Gillingham back in turn to a teammate in McIntosh, diving all over it. It was Hebley. Go back to Hutton. He got it going forward again to one-on-one. Osborne tried to win it out, couldn't quite. And then Roworth able to relieve it. Finds Paper Talk in the middle of Morawa Sporting Complex. They desperately need a goal before three-quarter time. A couple would be nice. Roworth takes the mark on the broadcast side. Almost right half forward as they try and edge their way closer to goal. Stone was out on the lead. It's up on top of his head and Wall over the back. I've been really impressed with the way that he's played today. Another intercept grab and an extreme switch to the outer side. Lane in front of the Sporters scoreboard, wanting to go short. Instead, Salah beat Mutter to it, read it better. The kick wasn't a great one though, and Hutton is able to drift across in front of Stone and take another intercept mark. His disposals really let him down to stay, Kobe Salah. A dangerous kick across the face of goal. Possibly could open them up a chance. Council, though, recovered okay. Over the head of Ryan for Carnamah. Hebley danced off a couple, tried to shrug off the tackle of Ryan and was unsuccessful. Holding the ball in the middle of Morawa Sporting Complex. Going short on the head. It was a dangerous looking kick, and it was, as Poutley had to work for it on his hands and knees. Got it away though. Paper Talk tried to sell a bit of candy, did so successfully. Hutton keeping it in front of him, trying to trap it for him. A couple of bites of the cherry, then he's able to get it going forward for himself and his team. Iaria ends up with it, outside 50. The kick, a good one out on the lead to Stone. The lead was good, the kick even better. Now Jack Stone, who kicked one earlier in the quarter, for his second and for Carnamah's sixth. Oh, that is a shocking kick. Misses the lot, Jack Stone, who really does look low on confidence. Jason Wall has really had his measure all day. Anytime Carnamah have looked to target Jack Stone, Wall's out the back, able to take the mark. And McIntosh takes the mark, wanting an option to present to him. Nothing forthcoming, plays on, looking for Eva. Falls over the back of him. McIntosh for Carnamah. On hands and knees against Eva. Right on the paint of 50. The non-officiating umpires called something off the ball. And it wasn't the siren. It could have been possibly a blood rule or a hit off the ball. I can't say I saw it. But it came from the Carnamah forward 50. Nonetheless, there's going to be a throw up on the paint of 50 here for Three Springs. Poutley and Mudden both had a piece of it. Tapped forward for Bork Martin, who got it to the outer side, only as far as Hutton rather, for Three Springs. The defensive spoil from both players came away. Lane knocked it forward. Paper talk. Arches the back and gets around a couple. Wants the kick inside 50. It was a dangerous looking one. And there to meet it was McIntosh for the Bombers. He's using his turn of foot to perfection. From the outside of the boot, Bruce Cherry again trying one. We've seen this before. He flew from behind to push in the back. And it's going the way of Clayton Bruce Cherry for a sweet 7 in a grand final. He's been the difference, Clayton Bruce Cherry, it has to say. While Carnamah have struggled to go up forward, Bruce Cherry has been a key target and a key figure. They have not been able to defend him, even with two on him. We're right behind this kick from Bruce Cherry. It looks good off the boot, it's there! He's in heaven, he's got 7. That's his second straight in this term. Now 3 for the term, 7 for the game, and 9 for Three Springs, who are marching their way to a premiership win. Thanks to Sportle, Dartfish, Filming Footy. Thank you very much for your company this afternoon. James Gardner in the commentary box, wherever you are, near or far. We've got Bombers fans listening in Bali who would be very, very happy with how their team's going at the moment. Mutton got the best of it. Instead it falls to Hutton, though, of Carnamah, and he goes out wide with a nice-looking kick to Criddle at right half forward, broadcast side. Putting it into the pocket for Stone. Out in front this time, takes the mark, Jack Stone. He worked his way to the front, had a couple of goes at it, and then got the mark that he needed. So although Three Springs have the momentum, this kick could make things a little interesting. He gets there. Jack Stone with his second of today. Hit straight back at Cherry. And he trims the margin down to 20 points. Or rather, 18 points. 60 plays 45, rather 15 points. We couldn't quite see the scoreboard from here. 60 plays 45, 15 points the margin as we enter time on here in the third term. A lot more even quarter, both with good representation on the scoreboard. Out of the middle, Roberts, a high dumping kick. Sellers was there though for Carnamah. He in turn, Hutton, wanted to go back to go forward with Ryan, and he's locked up. We'll have a ball up just inside 50 for Three Springs. Tapped down by Homerbarg, and Sellers weaves his way through. Got it forward. Hebley though, caught possibly without the ball. Paper talk now. Dances, shrugs one tackle. Dances another. Spotted the kick inside. Iaria there. He's going to be tracked down if he's not careful. The kick was well weighted though to Antonovic. Antonovic down the broadcast wing. Mark taken by Royworth. Goes inside. A dangerous looking handball, but it works out okay for Antonovic. Back inside to Ryan, and Hebley caught in possession. How does the umpire see this? He says, give it to me. We'll have a ball up on centre wing, broadcast side. And a warning to the Carnamah bench for swearing. So the next one will be a 50, as you might have heard from the umpire. Not tolerating the swearing. So Roworth out of the front of the contest with the quick kick forward. Spout is at the front, but he's met with a couple of Three Springs opposition players. Lane gets the free kick for a high tackle. He goes short, wide on laterally to Councillor. He went back with Reese Hutton up to Poutley through his fingertips. Ryan Iaria just didn't quite have the jump required. Out the back, Roberts again, looking inside to the centre square. Bouncing ball over the back. Hodder, can it sit right for him? He's got a couple to beat. Paddles it in front of him. Wants to try and gather cleanly. He does. Shrugged one tackle. Lost his footing. Had to then work hard for it with Lee. And Carnamah defence looking for the boundary line, and they find solace in it with Tim Steele getting it over and out to get a boundary throw in. On the 50. 4-3 Springs. Paper Talk got to the front of the contest. Worked it down. Looking for the run, but there is none forthcoming at the moment. Roworth ricocheted off his palm. Heavily. And there's the siren to sound the end. Three-quarter time here in the North Midlands Footy League Grand Final for 2023. And it is a 15-point margin to Three Springs. After they led 40-26, they lead at 60-45. Headlined by Clayton Bruce Cherry, who has kicked 7 goals in a grand final, all with headlined really by the 3 in the second and third quarters, while he kicked 1 right on the paint, right on the siren of quarter time. So three-quarter time here at Morawa. James Garner in the box for Filming Footy. Hope you're enjoying the coverage. We'll take a quick break and be back with the final quarter of the North Midlands Footy League season for 2023. Welcome back to Morawa Sporting Complex here in the North Midlands Football League. Three-quarter time in the grand final for 2023. And we can report that it is Three Springs in their pursuit of ending an 18-year premiership drought. Their last flag back in 2005. They lead it by 15 points at three-quarter time. We've got the breeze in the last quarter. You'd expect them to be able to hold on. James Gardner keeping you company throughout the afternoon. Hope you've been enjoying the call and the game. We've certainly enjoyed bringing it to you thus far. The story of the day, though, has to be Clayton Bruce Cherry, who has kicked a whopping 7 goals in the grand final. It has been an extraordinary performance. At times he's had 3 or 4 guys on him from Carnamah defending him, and he has been able to either win the contest, halve it, and then his follow-up work has just been second to none. It has been ultra impressive. And a very good performance by him, leading them to a 15-point lead at three-quarter time. So what do Carnamah have left in the final term? 20 minutes is all that separates one team from their premiership glory. We're back underway in the third term, and it's Hutton for Carnamah with the sweeping handball over to Royworth. He couldn't gather cleanly, had to pick it up from his laces. Handed it over, looking for Iaria. Almost dealt with after by Heberley, looking for Spout on the, for Chisholm on the lead, and he finds him. Plays on immediately, looking for Stone or Sellers in the forward pocket, and it goes out on the full, and that's not going to do it for them. But an early clearance is good if you're a Carnamah supporter. You've had more than enough opportunity to score. Both teams with equal scoring shots, 15 apiece, but it's a matter of Three Springs taking their opportunity and Carnamah not. In the meantime, Hutton got it from at the back of the pack and kicked it forward, but McIntosh was there for Three Springs. Wanted to switch it wide using the expanses of Morawa Oval. Slung around was Ryan, and that's how the umpire saw it. It will come back and be a free kick. A little bit of a scuffle now between Osborne and Halsler, who will be the recipient of a free kick. So one-on-one's ahead of the ball as Hutton puts it to centre-half forward, and a paper talk out on the lead takes a good overhead mark. There was pressure coming from behind. This will take some sort of kicking, though. The breeze is against him. He's going to arc around. Kicks it from virtually right on 50. It's a high up and under kick. Only a couple of metres out from the goal line, and it's knocked away and through for a minor score. So just as they have in every quarter of today, Carnamah per injury get the first points of the quarter. This time a minor score, 60 plays 46, 14 points the margin on the Sportal scoreboard. The relieving kick out, looking for Osborne, couldn't hold on to the mark, trying to paddle it forward, now into defensive 50, under pressure, missed his boot completely. Royworth dares around a couple, sets his sail for home. This will be some sort of kick. He gets it. What a goal from Bradley Royworth. They're not out of it yet, per injury. The Roos are bounding their way back into the contest. 8 points the margin. The poise, the class, the skill, the finish all on show from Bradley Royworth to get the first last quarter and to make it an 8-point ball game. Nervous energy right around this good crowd that's in today. A big day for the North Midlands Hockey, Netball and Football Associations. All their grand finals occurring today in the one place. In the meantime, caught in possession. Roberts, play on, says the umpire. Royworth flicked the handball forward to Criddle. A steering ball forward inside 50 and a good mark taken out on the lead by Ryan, who kicked the first of the day with a 60-metre long bomb. Now lines up for a 2-point ball game. And to really make things interesting, Ryan squeezes it home. It just gets there. And the Carnamah fans rejoice. It's a 2-point ball game. Ryan has 2. Carnamah have 8. 8:10:58. They trail Three Springs 9:6:50. And now the instructions are being barked from the Three Springs bench. Coach Jeremy Hebley not happy with what he's seeing through the middle. A tough coach and operator. Pout Routley got it going forward, but Hebley with the clearance for Three Springs. Tracking back and taking the mark, Routledge, the skipper of the North Midlands Association representative team. Goes out wide to Hutton. Centre wing out of side. Wants to spot the kick up. Looking for Steele. Over the top though was Burnett. Did well the skipper to apply the defensive pressure. Gets it back now in the clearing kick to space. Where's the runners? Where's the run? It comes in high area, wanting Routledge, who then knocked it over the boundary line, unable to take it cleanly. So it's on the outer side. Thrown back in. Hutton dances around a couple, uses his pace and skill. Gee, isn't that a nice kick inside to Criddle? Playing on immediately. Goes to Ryan. We've seen him kick this before for three, and to give them the lead back, it hits the post. Kobe Ryan was off on celebrations. He thought he had it, and so did the crowd. Immediately lane for Three Springs. Goes to McIntosh, who's run nearly the whole wing, and he's run too far. Pressure starting to get to the Bombers possibly. The ball with Tim Steele on the outer side, just forward of centre. Sellers leads out to meet it. Right half forward. This is a great grand final. Everything you want. Out of one. Stone out on the lead. Falls short of him. Has Wall for company. Tries to paddle it forward towards the goal face. Wall wins out though again. Getting it forward, and there's a whistle on play. And it goes out of bounds. It's going to come back though with Carnamah. Through the form of Routledge. Pumps it inboard, and Paper Talk on the lead takes the mark. He read it best. Spots the kick inside 50, looking for Ryan. Slipped over at a crucial stage though. Stone was there trying to tap it forward. Sellers danced around a couple. Spin move. Got the kick away, and it's a draw. We are all square. 60 apiece. Reminiscent of the GNFL Grand Final last weekend, which was tied at 60 apiece. After their 20 minutes, we went to extra time. Could we be set for more this week? Let's hope so. Councillor down the broadcast side. Routledge went back with the flight. Did well. Hutton for Three Springs. Tumbled it inside the corridor. Heavily was there. Got the handball away just in time. Trying to track it forward was Mutter. He couldn't successfully though. Iaria out to space. Paper Talk able to set himself. Wanted to get around. Is a direct opponent in Paper Talk, and he couldn't quite. The kick inside wasn't great. Underneath it, the mark taken. And it's with Chisholm. They were 15 points down at three-quarter time. Now Bruce Chisholm has the chance to put them ahead in the grand final in the last quarter, and he does it with the goal. Bruce Chisholm puts them in front. The Kangaroos have risen from the dead and are in the box seat. They've kicked now 4 straight goals to take the lead by a goal. 9-12 plays 9-6. 9 minutes gone. Here in the final quarter, James Gardner calling the action for Filming Footy, with thanks to the Archie's Footwear and also Dartfish and Filming Footy. Paper Talk, the recipient of a very nice hit from Poutley. They got it going forward. Criddle, they're dominating out of the centre now, the Carnamah Kangaroos. Saller over the back, headed to Ryan, dribbles along the ground. They're 2 straight ahead. Ryan has 3. 2 for the quarter. They're 2 straight kicks ahead. Carnamah Perenjori have come from nowhere. And now the panic button is starting to be pushed from the Three Springs bench. What a great grand final. It's had its all. A 22-point turnaround. And this is where it's been won in the middle. Being ridden in a piggyback is Roberts, who gets a rare clearance in this quarter. Puts it to half forward. They're not out of it yet, Three Springs, but backing back and doing well. Baumgarten for Carnamah Perenjori. Handed it to the run of Horsler. He in turn to Hutton. Him and Poutley being the best of field for Carnamah so far. Criddle tried to shrug the tackle. Did so eventually. Osborne trying to dive free. Paper Talk also being strong up forward. Handed it to the run of Smallwood. Just outside 50. Puts it to Stone, but standing back. And standing in the hole was McIntosh. They want to go quick. They haven't shirked yet, just yet, the Three Springs Bombers. They know there's still plenty of time left in this grand final. Heavily looking for his brother. Out into the path of him. He was met solidly by a couple of Carnamah defenders. One of them was Iaria, who got it out the side door. Routledge is there, hovering. Ball close to the boundary line. Kept in somehow. Ryan for Carnamah. The high kick, and Hutton standing back takes it. Out of side, centre wing. Spots the kick inboard, and Paper Talk takes the mark. Already has a couple today. Goes inside 50 looking for Bruce Cherry. He's kicked 7. Is this number 8 coming up? He gathers. He looks. He goes for the fend off, and he gets the goal. Bruce Cherry with 8. And it's back to a goal the margin. He breaks the run of 5 straight goals, Clayton Bruce Cherry. And he breathes just a bit more hope and turns another twist in this tale. 72 plays 66. Clayton Bruce Cherry easily best of field with 8 today. Lots of nervous energy down here at Morawa as the season for 2023 reaches its climax in the North Midlands Footy League. Poutley again, who's had the dominance in the ruck. Hutton on hands and knees tries to lock it up and does so successfully. Over the top of him was Roberts, who's done some pretty good stuff through the middle. Provided a lot of drive. This time couldn't quite as he was brought down by Hutton. Paper Talk pounced on it. Put it inside 50. Unable to reach its intended target in Ryan. Over the top, locked up. And we'll have a throw up. I reckon at 3/4 time, the Three Springs boys would have thought that they would have just about been there. I know I certainly did, but they've risen from the dead. And now, another goal. This time, Jared Jupp joins in on the action. And Tim Steele roved it beautifully off the pack to hit straight back and keep the 2-goal buffer. 78 to 66. That's now 5 goals to 1 here in the last term after they struggled for any fluency up forward all day, Carnamah. This quarter it has just clicked for them. And they now find themselves 12 points ahead. Almost 14 minutes gone in the last. Still plenty of time left. Reece Hutton tried to get it moving forward. Osborne did the dirty work. Got the forward releasing handle to Hebley. Wanted to spot the kick up and does. Out on the lead, Paper Talk. Wanted to go wider. Puts him in a dangerous spot. Wanting to put it to the top of the square. In the left forward pocket. It looks like it is with Counsellor for the Three Springs Bombers. Runs to just about 50. The kick holds up. And it gets through. They're not done with yet, the Three Springs. The Three Springs boys still marching their way on. Leadham Paper Talk with the goal. And it is just a solitary kick in it. It has been a seesawing final quarter. This time, Mutter, almost. Ball bubbles around. Poutley ripped it out of there. Tapped it forward. Hutton has been so impressive for the Carnamah team today. There's been a mark paid. The Carnamah fans aren't happy. Osborne, centre wing broadcast side. Roberts with a booming kick inside 50, looking for Bruce Cherry, who's caught behind. Does it skip forward to him? It doesn't quite with Criddle there. Handed it over the top to Heelan, who then tries to just hack it forward, get it out of the defensive the danger zone. Bruce Cherry tracking back a long way from home. Gets a free kick for holding the man. Spots the kick inboard. Paper Talk, who's just lifted a notch in this last quarter. Floats across, takes the mark, left half back. Propels them down the outer side. Gets over the back of the main contest. Met solidly. Poutley skips it forward. Inside 50. Stoner will get out the back. Salah in a one-on-one. Has Rod for support. Doesn't need him though. Kobe Salah. And it is on. A little bit of a scuffle late. He joins in on the action. He had the run of Ryan there, didn't need him though. 84, plays 72, back out to a 2-goal margin. And every time it has looked like Three Springs are starting to get on top. Carnamah just have the ability to hit back at them. Nearly 17 minutes gone in the final quarter. Thanks to Filming Footy and Dartfish, James Gardner calling the action. This has been a great grand final, one that will live long in the memories of all that are here and those watching at home. Glad we can have your company this afternoon. Trying to paddle it forward. Paper Talk collects, runs just outside 50, looks for Bruce Cherry. Almost they can shepherd it through. Just doesn't quite have the legs. Bounces back. Cherry looking for number 9. Gets it back. Did so well. And on the goal line. The goal scored. They confer. It's up to the goal umpire to decide. And he's decided it was touched on the line. Possibly a lucky point. Or a good point for Three Springs, who find themselves now 11 points behind. 2 kicks will do it for them as we begin to enter time on. 18 minutes gone here in the last. There's been a free kick spotted out in Paper Talk, who has been the shining light right through the game, but particularly in the last quarter. Mark taken by Osborne, who picked it out through the middle of the ground. Wanted to go inboard. Reece Hutton is the target. Wheels around onto the right. Puts it into the left forward pocket. Bounces away and it rolls out of bounds. So instructions being barked from the Three Springs bench that they want to come to this broadcast side, to the dead pocket, rather than the outer side. This time, Hutton, who has done just about everything for Carnamah today, does the ruck work, rips it out of there. The kick only goes as far as McIntosh, though, who plays on immediately. Puts it to centre half forward. Spoilt defensive spoil came from behind. Hutton down the front of the pack. Handballed it out to Roberts. And now up to Paper Talk, who took the mark. Played onto the left. And he puts it across the face. For one behind only. These are costly errors now for Three Springs. 10 points they trail by after leading by 15 at 3/4 time. It would be some kind of comeback if Carnamah were able to hold on to and win this contest. At left half back is Paper Talk. 19 minutes gone. Still, there'd be a fair bit of time on, a lot of goals scored in this quarter, and a lot of stoppage time as well. On the outer side, trying to block his way forward is Burnett, and he's happy to see it over the boundary line. Time ticks away. 19 and a half minutes gone. In the last, possibly a high tackle, a push in the back is called by the umpire. And it will go the way of Halser for Carnamah Perendry. Goes down the outer side, looking to stick to with the safe option and into the safe hands of Chisholm, who uses his strength to win out the one-on-one contest. Goes inside 50. Stone made a run for it. Wall possibly a push in the back. Salah down the front of the contest and a push in the back called. And Salah will have the free kick after he kicked the last goal to put them 2 goals ahead. This goal, if he kicks it, will put them 16 points in front and will take 3 goals. Instead, he pops it up for Jack Stone, who's been a little low on confidence today. He's already kicked 2, probably could have kicked a couple more if he had have had his kicking boot on. But this to make things very, very hard for Three Springs. For 16-point buffer, Jack Stone, the goal umpire does not move. He turns to the fans on the outer side and pumps them up. Jack Stone has possibly just delivered Carnamah their first premiership since 2012. It's a 16-point margin, 90 plays, 74 on the Sportal scoreboard, 13-12 to 11-8, and really the damn wall had to break at some point for the Three Springs defence because they were under the pump all day long. And it is beginning to break as we are officially in time on. We'll have a restart just metres away from where we had the initial throw up. There's a blood rule now for the Three Springs ruckman. He's not happy, but that's the way that it is. So instead going into the ruck will be Richard Denny, with blood coming from his knee. He has to take a seat and get that little bit of claret stitched up. The time on message going out from the benches to the players. Paper Talk standing tall, the bigger body, contested bull. And he has thrown his hat in the ring late for that pair of Archie thongs. It's hard to go past Clayton Bruce Cherry though, with 8, and also Hutton for Carnamah as Paper Talk's taken high. This is an important ball going forward. It's going to be brought back because it was in a stoppage. There was no advantage paid. So lead 'em Paper Talk, the former Saint in the Great Northern Football League, premiership player with the Saints. Dances around, Pulte strides just outside 50, looks for Bruce Cherry, but in the way. McIntosh putting his body on the line. He knew the contact was coming, but with those ultra safe hands of his, he was able to get the result that he was after. Out onto the outer side, almost the mark taken by Horsler. Couldn't quite. And so now with Paper Talk, or Kamal Paper Talk rather, who puts it a little too wide and goes out of play. And we'll have a boundary throw in. So about 45, 50 metres around from Three Springs goal, near the Sportal scoreboard, which sees Three Springs trailing by 16 points after leading it by 15 and looking like they were going to win the game at 3/4 time. Carnamah were down and out but they have somehow turned this around to have one hand on the Premiership Cup. For coach Riley Barham and captain Riley Pulte. A little bit of a hold up on the outer side as we wait for the ball. Of course, the clock has stopped though. We are deep into time on. Time is beginning to run out for Three Springs. Coach Jeremy Hebley and his team of coaching staff, there's probably not a whole lot they can do from now except sit and watch and hope and wait for possibly a half chance. Ball to be thrown up on the outer side in the left forward pocket for Three Springs. Knocked away from the defensive goal face by Carnamah, and you're able to lock it up. Left half back. So where do Three Springs go from here? They need to kick 3 straight goals and unanswered as well in time that is ticking away. Osborne, this time, is this the chance, the opening that they need? Well, it was the opportunity presented itself, but he unfortunately misses it. 11-9, 75 to 12-13, 90. Two proud footy clubs in a very good competition. What has been a cracking game, a high-scoring affair, and a real arm wrestle as Pulte, the skipper, stands up, stands tall, takes a big contested mark, wheels and goes immediately, wants Salah. He was met heavily though, well done by young Lane, flicked out the back, there to meet it, Criddle, flicked it back in turn to Paper Talk, just took a little bit off the kick, and Bone flicked it forward. They need to get a bit of run going here through Burnett. They can't though because the pressure is just so extreme. A little bit of time and space now for Hebley. About to be tracked down by Paper Talk. Stepped around him, puts it to centre half forward. Bounces away. This time now for Roberts. Can he size up his options and put them within 10 points? He can't quite. And on the last line of defence, playing the goalkeeper role, Nigel Routledge, the spiritual captain, is able to stop the attack and relieve any pressure. To left half back with Hutton, who couldn't quite take clean possession of it. And it goes out of bounds. And we'll have a throw up. Can't be long left in this game. Deep into time on. 14 points the margin, 90 plays 76. Wall, a high up and under kick, and the mark taken in front by Andrew Hodder. Needs to kick this. Has the breeze in his favour. Plays on. Kicks from the paint of 50. It's into the path of Bruce Cherry over the back. Takes the mark. He's had a day out, Clayton Bruce Cherry. Kicked 8 today. This one for 9 would be the hardest of the lot and arguably the most important. A little too skinny, and it's out of bounds on the full. Misses the lot. Still though, definitely a best on ground performance by him. Definitely in the running for the pair of Archie thongs, which we'll be giving out after the game. Royworth takes the mark, left half back, leading it by 14 points. They can afford to take as much time as they like here, Carnamah per injury. Poutley the option. Flew high over the pack, falls short though. Got it back again. Looking for Paper Talk and finds him, who's really stood up in this last quarter, as I've been mentioning. Criddle wanted to go back to Len. Couldn't quite though. Spinning out of trouble was McIntosh. Back in turn to Hebley. Shrugged a tackle. Took one bounce down the outer side to left half forward and looking for his brother Gus. It's all too wide. And so The ball rests in the hands of Routledge. Goes short looking for Chisholm, had to pick it up off his bootlaces. Handed it back to Routledge, who provided the run and gun. Up to a one-on-one situation. Paper talk, how good's he been in this last quarter? He has marked everything. He hits normally just about every target. The bounce wasn't kind to Roworth rather. Lost a handle on it. Now Three Springs, can they attack and manufacture something? Iaria just too small against Roberts. Flicked it back. Hutton, normally a good user of the ball. Falls short of Hodder. Dancing around is Roberts. Possibly caught holding the ball. And a sling tackle called. So Michael Roberts wheels around, puts it to the teeth of goals, looking for Bruce Cherry. It lands out the back to him, but the mark is taken in defence. Stringent defence from Poutley. Puts it out wider, left half back. And Horsler able to escort it over the line and get a boundary throw in. Chisholm over the back. Tapped it to Roworth. He in turn got it to Steele. He's kicked a couple today and provided a late spark that they required. Salah was started strong early. He had plenty of touches. At times his disposal a little poor. Nonetheless, it seems as though he's a premiership player. He is. They were down and out at three-quarter time. Down by 15 points. They turn it around. Carnamah Perenjori to win it 90-76. They came from the first semi-final. They did it the hard way, defeating Morawa in the first semi. The Magpies last weekend. And for Coach Riley Barham and Captain Riley Poltley, who was superb all day, they've brought home the first premiership since 2012. From agony to ecstasy in the space of 12 months. They've avenged for last year's loss, and they defeat Three Springs in a thriller at Morawa. On Three Springs' side, a really great contest by them. They led at half-time and three-quarter time, but they just didn't quite have enough. The quarter-by-quarter summaries for the Sportal scoreboard. At quarter time, it was Carnamah leading at 24-8 at half time. Three Springs 40-26. Three-quarter time 60-45 in favour of Three Springs. At that point, everyone thought here that they had won it. They had the breeze in the last quarter, but prevailing late with a big last quarter were Carnamah Perenjori. The Kangaroos bound their way to a premiership 90-76. With a huge last quarter. They kicked something of 7 or 8 goals. Special mention has to go to Clayton Bruce Cherry, who kicked 8 for the day and really led the comeback for the Three Springs Bombers, while for the Carnamah Perenjori boys, Kobe Ryan kicked a couple, then Paper Talk was very good right throughout the game. Jack Stone chimed in late and kicked a couple. Kobe Sellers as well. And so in the end, a very good performance by the Carnamah Perenjori Kangaroos. Hope you've enjoyed the coverage today. James Gardner calling you through all the action. Thank you very much to all of you that tuned in. We now have the task of picking the Archie's footwear player of the game, and make sure you go out and you get a pair of Archies. They are some of the most comfortable footwear you'll ever wear. Got a pair myself, and I tell you what, I wear them every year. That's how comfortable they are. For Three Springs, obviously Hutton, Bruce Cherry, Liam Paper Talk was good early. I really liked Liam Mutter as well in the ruck. While for Carnamah, I thought Riley Poutley played a really good game. Jack Stone did some good things late. Len Paper Talk in that last quarter really led the charge for them. Also, along with those guys, I had Mitchell Hutton written down. I thought him early especially was really good, and he was able to get them moving forward into a lot of attack. through the centre clearance. But today, the best player goes to number 9, Clayton Bruce Cherry, with 8 goals, and really single-handedly brought the Three Springs Bombers back into this game. Nonetheless, they fall short, 90-76. It's the Crews bounding their way to a premiership, 13-12, 90 to the Three Springs Bombers, 11-10-76. Thanks for your company this afternoon. This has been James Gardner with Brody on the camera. Thanks for your work today, mates. And I appreciate all the work that you do. We do, of course, all thanks to Dartfish, Filming Footy, Sportal, the Archies, and the Omnibus Igniter. Thanks for your company today. Have a great night. It was the Kangaroos, premiers in 2023 in the North Midlands Football League, running out winners by 14 points.
today. As you get much further than that, I'd like to put your hands together for both these teams and put on a terrific display of country football tonight. I'd like to thank Morawa for providing the venue today. Absolutely spot on. And thank you to all the supporters who have come along today to witness this magnificent game of football of ours. Terrific day for all codes today, netball, hockey and football, nippers, and turned it on and made it worthwhile for everyone.
I'm in Niger's boat.
I'd just like to cut the umpires in first up because they have other commitments. So you have 3 medallions here to be awarded to the umpires. Thank you very much for your communication today.
Thanks for having us here today, guys. Thanks to Morawa. That's been a terrific day. It's great to see so many people. Congratulations to Carnamah. It was a great game for you. Good comeback in the last quarter. Congratulations to the Three Springs, but congratulations on a great game and a great season. It's remarkable effort given where you were 2 or 3 years ago. It's a fantastic achievement for what you've done today. Thanks for having us, guys. Great game of food and enjoy the night.
Thanks very much, guys. Well, like you know, there's must see congratulations to Three Springs. Wasn't quite the fairy tale ending they were looking for, but the old top picks around. Last Carnamah last year did the hard yards and certainly on the comeback trail this year. They were hungry for that to go. Graham Johnson covering us as
Thanks, Gary. First of all, to Morawa, thanks for putting on a great day today. It was really good. Riley, congratulations, mate. So we're 2-all. That counted there, we're even now. And to your charters, you've done a great job, mate, and well done. To my boys, I'll talk about that in a minute when we get in the change rooms. But the crowd here was really, really good. Good game of footy. Thanks for them.
Thanks, Aaron. And if I could call upon someone from the Carnamah Football Club.
Thanks to all teams for the year, firstly. You guys done a really good job. Whenever there's any questions asked, I think it's a back straight away. Run a really good competition. It's been great standing for you all year. Anyone can beat anyone for the comp, so it's been a pleasure to be a part of. I'll just touch on two boys' heads. You boys have done a lot of last year to go from bottom to the end of the football year this year. It's an amazing effort, so I'm sure you boys will be back. I hope we can get the same group together and have another crack. So doing it right and just some great seasons. Thanks to Morawa. Nice day. I'm so proud of them. We were 4-5 at the start of the year. We had a few feelings sort of doubt us a little bit. Obviously lost the granny last year and then we felt like we had our backs against the wall. Back after the year, I think we've won 9 of our last 10 now. 3 goals down at 3/4 time, and into the breeze. That's just unreal for you boys and it shows how much heart and you guys have got. Well done. Thanks as well to the Carnamah friend community. We love having you guys there. And we have after games. It's a pleasure to be a part of the work with me. I've loved being involved. This one's with you guys, alright, it's not just the players, it's on everyone. There's people who've been injured during the year and not out there with a Guernsey on. So everyone's a part of this, and I'm really enjoying this. Right, we'll get on to our next. I don't know if we're going to have the numbers off the top of my head. Okay. 2, poke your eye. Number 3, Joey Aria. Number 4, Jared Young. Dream. Number 6, Brendan Hosler. Number 7, Kane Smallwood. Number 8, Calvin Thomas. 9, Danny Criddle. Number 10, Brendan Walton. Number 11, Owen Heelan. 12, it's Hutton. Tim Seal. Don't get too high for me now, so I'm real long. Oh, there you go, 16, Kobe Seller. Bruce Chizzer. Carnamah. Keegan Baker. Luke Smallwood. Connor McIntosh. Ryan McGartney. Glenn Paxall. Marley Fraser. Jack Stowe. Captain Riley Pompney. I'll hand the rest of these ones out at our awards at the Midlands night. I've got lined up for the thanks everyone, enjoy the night.
I have Roger Tunbridge over here today, representing his father Gordon, and Roger will come up and present the Tunbridge family verdict for the best on the round as adjudicated by the umpires.
Congratulations to both teams in the wonderful game.
Where's Zoe? Zoe!
Yeah, the game leader was pretty crazy last quarter, but yeah, it's probably a credit to the club. It's been doing it for 3 years. It's been a massive amount of work by the team. So like the side bit? So like the team, yeah, hopefully the community enjoys the couple of days. And yeah, next year.
Riley, I'd like to come up here.
Get a win today. So our boys expect to build new year. It's a slow start, but I think we had it in us. Yeah, cheers.
I'd like to thank our animal sponsors here today for all your young ones that used to do it, all the old ones inside like this did. So thanks very much for the animal sponsors. Thanks very much for the disrupted our football, but I'm much stronger for that. I thank everyone out here today. I'd also like to thank Jim here. Put your hands together and just Okay, thanks very much. Now drive safely home. And